In today's rebuild, we're going to be rebuilding the Cleveland Browns, an interesting roster with clearly some drama surrounding the quarterback position. No matter what way you cut it, Deshaun Watson sucks, and he is arguably the worst contract in the NFL, on top of the fact that we don't get a first-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft because of the Deshaun Watson trade. That really makes this a very, very difficult rebuild. So on this joyous 420 holiday, sit back,
out here in Amish, smoking big joints in Amish.
watch as we draft the most popular player in college football. We shatter the all-time sack record, and over the next 10 seasons, we try and turn the Cleveland Browns not only into Super Bowl champions, but into a dynasty. All right, so before we could go any further, we need to address the elephant in the room, which is Deshaun Watson. Now, if you know my channel for the last 8 years, you know that early on, I was a big fan of Deshaun Watson. I loved the cut at Clemson, but since then, he's done things that at best make him a creepy pervert. At worst, I'll let you interpret how bad you want to hate Deshaun Watson, but the reality of it is he's still in the league with no restrictions whatsoever. So I'm not here to moral grandstand. He's going to be our starting quarterback until we can get rid of his ugly contract, which is goddamn terrible. It is the worst contract in the NFL. I couldn't make all the free agency moves for the Browns because I just simply could not afford Jameis Winston, Mo Hurst, Devin Bush, like guys that could be somewhat valuable to us. I could not make it happen because of this ugly Deshaun Watson contract. So rather just like outright benching him and making DTR, going Tyler Huntley as a starter, he does give us the best chance at winning, and that is what we're trying to do. Win over this next 10-year period. But that also needs to be said that I don't want to win with Deshaun Watson at the end of the day. I don't want to parade him. I don't want to promote him. I don't want to have a career revival with him at 28. I don't want him to see if we can go up depth trade. I don't want to see what is the highest overall we can get with Deshaun Watson. Honestly, I hope that this offense just runs through Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson never goes over 20 touchdowns, and we can just let him dissolve into irrelevancy, even though he's our starter. As soon as I can cut him and it makes sense that it's not going to be just an insanely dead salary cap hit, we're going to do so. But until that time, he's going to be the only quarterback we start where I truly hope he's not good. I truly hope all he does is hand the football off to this man. And in the scope of a 10-year rebuild, Nick Chubb ain't got long for this world. He's 28 years old. I'm not going to lie. That surprised me a little bit. I didn't think he was that old, but he is, when healthy, and hopefully he bounces back from that injury, one of the best running backs in the league. And we are absolutely going to run him till the wheels fall off. He is going to be the face of this offense. Also doesn't help that our best wide receiver is kind of old as well in the scope of a 10-year rebuild. I don't know how long we're going to get out of Amari Cooper. I've had a weird relationship with Amari Cooper because now that he's outside of the division, I should have no problem because I used to hate him when he was a Dallas Cowboy. But I mean, I'll be honest, it's kind of lingered a little bit. Even though I can admit, super underrated, still super talented, never been able to turn around into be a Amari Cooper fan. Maybe I need to be here today. I think we need to thank Joe Flacco for getting David Njoku that superstar dev. Just force-fed him. He was such a freaking weapon during the end of the Browns season last year with Joe Flacco that he got himself up to his superstar dev. But again, much like Nick Chubb, all these Browns impact playmakers, they are at a kind of awkward age where they're all of them are pretty close to their ceiling and going to be pretty close to regressing. And we're at this spot where we clearly don't have a quarterback that's going to be able to lead us to a Super Bowl in Deshaun Watson. We clearly can't move off that quarterback. We clearly can't be aggressive to go find a new quarterback. And it does feel like by the time that we can move off of Deshaun Watson, all of these star players are going to be either regressing down or gone outright. So it's a really weird spot that the offense is put in. Not only that, offensive line's not getting any younger. Batonio is at his ceiling. Wyatt Teller is at its ceiling. Jack Conklin is at his ceiling. And honestly, I'm going to throw Jack Conklin up on the trade block here. We do need to get a little bit of breathing room on the salary cap side of things. And the fact that we got a 76, way younger, way higher upside player in DeJuan Jones just waiting to become a starter. I definitely think out of everybody on the offense, makes Jack Conklin the most expendable. The big move for the Cleveland Browns was trading a couple day 3 picks to the Denver Broncos to bring in Jerry Jeudy. They also gave Jerry Jeudy a contract extension. And at least here we go. We're looking in a 10-year scope. Amari Cooper's not going to be here. Nick Chubb's not going to be here. David Njoku's not going to be here. Wyatt Teller's not going to be here. Joe Batonio's not going to be here. But Jerry Jeudy might. we might be able to run and have Jerry Jeudy be the face of this offense, which we still need some work, right? His whole beef with Steve Smith on the sideline there, but saying Jerry Jeudy's washed, he's not good, he's overrated. I mean, you look at it, 25 star to have 81. It's not brutal, but the reality is Jerry Jeudy is severely underperformed from the player that we thought he was going to be coming out of Alabama. And is he going to be able to unlock that potential here in Cleveland, here with the offense that we have in place? I'm not quite sure, but I would love to see, another Alabama Crimson Tide, Amari Cooper, take him under the wing and help develop him into an eventual wide receiver one that we need him to be. So looking on the defense here, the D-line, it's old. Smith's solid, Tomlinson's solid. We got Shelby Harrison free agency, and we're obviously the face of this entire franchise, arguably the most talented defensive player in the league, Myles Garrett. But look at the age again. I don't want to be ageist. I don't want to show signs of ageism. But for a 10-year rebuild, even though much like I would say Nick Chubb, I think Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett are going to be two players that as long as we can keep them here till they retire, they're going to play at a high level until they retire. But the fact of the matter is, he's 28 already. He is not going to be here. We're not going to be able to rely on him year 7, 8, 9 of this rebuild. So our window's now. But our window's now, we got freaking Deshaun Watson at quarterback, and there's nothing we can do about it. So the more that the fact that I'm trying to hammer home is, my God, we are screwed for this Browns win now window. At the linebacker core, they brought in Jordan Hicks on a short-term deal, and I cheesed it a little bit. I know JOK's up for a contract and rather have them be an outside linebacker and look and demand edge rush money. I decided to move him inside the middle linebacker, which should hopefully make it a little bit more realistic in terms of what contract he's going to look like and our chances to go re-sign him. God damn, man. Got enough shit on your arms? I will say, though, the secondary, I feel real good about the secondary. Thornhill's a good role player. Delpit has a whole lot of upside. And, man, there was a point in time Delpit felt like a top 5 player of his draft class coming out of LSU. Newsom's a dog, but he's going to get paid soon. Denzel Ward is great. And somehow, someway, Martin Emerson Jr. has a superstar dev. So this secondary across the board, easily the biggest strength, most complete unit. I would say even more so than the offensive line here in Cleveland. And hopefully we can do a good job keeping all these guys together. So now we got to wait all the way to pick 23 in the second round for our first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. And I'd be lying if I said if a Bo Nix, if a Michael Penix was still on the board, that I would have pulled the trigger and just got ourselves a quarterback. But, Spencer Rattler is kind of the cutoff right now in terms of, like, if you want to get a quarterback, you might be able to get something there. But we have other holes that need addressing versus bringing in someone that might be able to compete for the starting quarterback job. So trying to figure out where we should go with our first pick in the second round. Now, looking at who's going to be gone, as far as starters, Jordan Hicks, but that's more of a rental at linebacker. Jedrick Wills at tackle. That's an interesting one. I think in a perfect world, we might be able to re-sign him. But again, I have no idea how much salary we're going to have. And I think it's fair to assume that we might be only to sign one or two of these guys. And when you look at the players, Elijah Moore's a starting wide receiver for us. Za'Darius Smith starting D-end. JOK, who definitely, along with Nick Chubb, is probably going to be near our top of our priority list. But Cooper's going to be gone. I think wide receiver, long-term, is probably where we should go, especially with the strength of this pick here in the second round. I know Bengal might not have been biased or not, but if these are the wide receivers that are available, Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, if I have to find one guy, that even if there's no depth trait, that I am going to be almost all in on making a superstar, even maybe more so than Jerry Jeudy, Ricky Pearsall is my sleeper wide receiver of this year's draft. He is absolutely insane. That is not Ricky Pearsall! But there we go. That is our top get. And we're going to prepare for next year where we'll be losing our two. Because there's a zero chance we're paying Amari Cooper. There's also zero chance we're going to have the salary cap to go sign a proven wide receiver. So I think it makes a lot of sense to draft one now. We'll probably bump him ahead of Elijah Moore in the slot so he can get on the field, get some reps. But long term, we're going to hope we can develop Ricky Pearsall into a dude. We're going to make a good trade to trade up into the third round to give us 2 third-round picks, but it also will mean our draft is over at the end of this third round as we're able to send Jack Conklin to the tackle-needy Commanders as well. We had to throw in our 5th and 6th round pick to get that interest to where we needed to be, but we did get an early pick in the third round, and then we're going to pick in the 20s in the third round as well. And listen, I like Nick Chubb. I really do, but the fact that we have our pick of any running back in this draft. It's not a particularly strong draft, but when you get to the third round, Benson, Corum, Braylon Allen, Jonathan Brooks, all those guys start to look a little bit better. And the fact that Benson is still here on the board, the fact that, let's be honest, if it comes down to JOK or Nick Chubb, who's getting the contract first, especially knowing Nick Chubb coming off the ACL, the bad ACL. JOK's getting that money first. So we are going to bring in, Jerome, we got some guys there, good rotation. But in case we can't re-sign, I'm going to try to. I will try to, but he's very much getting the second offer. We're getting JOK first. If there's any left over, we can look that way. We got to get some cover. We got to get an insurance, and Trey Benson is some hell of insurance. And then with our final pick, I'm going to swing here on an athletic linebacker that I think we might be able to develop. Trevin Wallace, one of my favorite linebackers in this year's draft class as far as sleepers are concerned. Just a freak athlete. Kind of reminds me of JOK a little bit. How is he going to be used in the league? A little bit different because JOK was kind of that safety build, playing linebacker, whereas Wallace is just a track athlete at linebacker. But we're unlikely to pay Jordan Hicks, so he's going to, I'm just thinking about next year's free agency. Who can we draft this year that might give us a chance? Like, hey, let's start them, see what happens. Maybe they roll a dev trade. I'm not expecting a dev trade here in Wallace. If this was a generated class, I might be, given his athletic traits. But hopefully we get a rating that's close enough to 70s that might be able to see the field as a rookie and could potentially pop a dev trade if we can get a bunch of tackles. We didn't have a lot of picks, but I think we made the most of them. Ricky Pearsall, 73, normal. Wallace, 72. That's a good rating. I'll take that. 72 all day of the week. And Benson, that is our hit. Even though the clouds surrounding this pick about what the future of Nick Chubb holds. I get it. It's not a great feeling to be at, but we got to think about long term. This is not a 5-year rebuild. Or, yeah, we might be able to throw Nick Chubb and keep him to 30. This is a 10-year rebuild that we need to be very smart how we navigate the salary cap. And I'm glad I'm not a Browns fan because I don't have any ties to any of these players, even though I love Nick Chubb. We got to think. The reality is it's not looking particularly good. This gives us some flexibility in case it comes down to it. Very early into year one, we get a breakout scenario at linebacker, and it is our third-round pick, our third pick and only pick and last pick in the draft, Trevin Wallace out of Kentucky. Big-time athlete looking to break off that normal dev, which is kind of what we predicted. I knew he was going to get on the field. Normal dev rookies that play a lot have these high percent chances to get a breakout. Let's see if we can handle business against the Chargers because that'd be huge for this defense, especially in case we can't extend JOK because I have no idea what our salary cap's looking like for our contract extensions here in year one. Fortunately, we lost, but doesn't mean we don't have a chance. It's silver lining here. 24-13, we fall to the Chargers. Brutal. Looking at contracts, we have $25 million available, which might work itself out. I assume we're going to lose Darius Smith all along. There's no way we're paying that. Elijah Moore, well, he's replaced by Ricky Pearsall. Cooper, we drafted Pearsall again with the idea that we're likely losing both these wide receivers, and Jerry Jeudy's going to be the only guy we have remaining. We drafted a running back for this. I mean, if we can, I think we go JOK first, Jedrick Wills second, and then we'll see what happens. We got him locked in. It is a 6-year, $76 million deal, which is a lot for an off-ball linebacker, but JOK has the ceiling to be the highest-rated linebacker in football when all is said and done. I think he's well worth the price. Just to be clear now, after paying JOK, there's no way we can re-sign Nick Chubb. We were able to give Jedrick Wills a 5-year, $57 million deal. Usually I don't like paying linemen, but we're early enough in the rebuild that it's going to be difficult to get someone that can step up and replace him right now. So we get him to his 30, maybe a little bit more expensive than what I would have liked to have paid, but still as a dev trait lineman with his best football ahead of him that brings some versatility that could potentially go into guard at his later years. I think there's still some solid value there. So at the end of year one, we go 9-8, which is not a brutal record, but we are outside of the playoffs by a win. Who knows? We really got one more win. We might have been able to squeak into the wild card. Look at the stats offensively. I mean, Kevin Stefanski is one of the more underrated, better offensive head coaches in the NFL. And his offense played as such. The defense, work in progress. I'm not going to lie, maybe a little underwhelming. But Myles Garrett got his as he wins Defensive Player of the Year. Now, I'll tell you this. I was 4 games into the sim. He had 0 sacks through 4 games. And he finished with 20.5 as well as 15 TFL. So he got 20.5 sacks in 13 weeks, which is maybe even less, 12 weeks. I assume the bye was in there. Insane that he got hot and went nuclear, which is what we needed to do. As far as the rest of the team, I mean, the TFLs weren't bad. JOK played great, 122 tackles, 6 TFLs, 2 picks, 90 tackles for the rookie Trevin Wallace. But the interceptions, I mean, not Not great, considering how good our secondary is, considering when I went to the team preview, I was kind of gassing up our secondary a little bit. Unfortunately, Pearsall and Benson, who both started and played a lot for us this year, runners up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ricky Pearsall goes over 1,000 yards in his rookie campaign on 66 catches, 8 touchdowns as well. 7 and 9 for Amari Cooper, and Njoku was all right. Jerry Jeudy going over 1,000 yards, which I'm pretty happy about. Now, when we made the decision that we just could not afford to re-sign Nick Chubb, who still had 12 touchdowns, 600 yards, I decided to let's just move Benson. So we started for the last, third of the season plus. 1,000 yards for him, 13 touchdowns in his rookie campaign. Now between these two guys, brutal that Malik Neighbors is a baller wide receiver. But brutal that now one of these two got Offensive Rookie of the Year. Deshaun Watson, 3,600 yards, 28 touchdowns, 17 picks. That's not a brutal year, but when you look and see he's one of the most expensive quarterbacks in the league, that's pretty bad. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills for winning the Super Bowl here in Year 1, 2017, as the Niners are always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Starting D tackle rush, Shelby Harris retires after 11 seasons as a very solid defensive lineman. On the offensive side of the ball, we lost the superstar on David Njoku, which kind of stings, but we at least gained a star dev on Ricky Pearsall, who was a normal dev as a rookie. On the defensive side of the ball, all dev traits remain the same outside of our rookie, Trevin Wallace, who, much like Ricky Pearsall, was drafted as a normal dev, but played significant snaps as a rookie and earned himself a dev trait increase as well. And because it's his final season here in Cleveland, shout out Nick Chubb for everything he's been able to do and accomplish 7,100 yards rushing and 60 touchdowns. Just to reaffirm that we can't afford anybody, we're actually in the red by $5.3 million, so thanks for everything, fellas. Luckily, we're able to trim down a lot of our roster fat here, all backups, rotational guys, surplus, to go from about $5 million in the red. We are now getting a little bit of breathing room, 1.8, but with that amount of money, it's not even worth really taking a peek at who is available in free agency because it's just window shopping at this point. We need to do our damage in the draft, but we have a first-round pick finally. Again, 2025 Browns fans, you are over the Deshaun Watson massacre of your roster. So I picked 17 in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Our focus scouting was pass rush. We went out here, and it's just the other side of Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's got up there in age. Luckily he's playing like a baller, but he's getting old. He's getting up there, right? And then the other side, does he have a partner in crime? And we did scout, and we found some value here in Ethan Burke, guy that honestly, if he's still available in the second round, because he's second, third round, there's definitely going to be some value there. Double A with a B. But as far as using our first round pick on a pass rush, don't love the market. And I will say, shockingly available at pick 17 are all the quarterbacks. Carson Beck, Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart. We're eventually got to do a freaking Arch Manning rebuild. But I did not think, and if we're in this spot with the worst quarterback situation in the league, 4A Shedeur Sanders. Doesn't have elite throw power, doesn't really have elite traits, but 4A's. Also has A, throw under pressure, B, throw on the run, A, play action, B, awareness, not bad. Do we? I feel like we do. I feel like Coach Prime gives the thumbs up that Shedeur can go to Cleveland. I don't know how Deshaun Watson feels about this, but we have finally a quarterback we can feel all right about. The most popular player in all of college football is now a Cleveland Brown. It didn't work out the last time they got the most popular player in all of college football in Johnny Manziel, but this time it's going to be different. Promise that. So we're going to make a jump up from 17 to pick 5 or 6 in the second round, throwing in our 4th and 2-6, maybe getting some pretty good value there. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. But Ethan Burke's still on the board. I didn't want to keep waiting. It was only a matter of time. Let's trust our scouting. He looks real good. A tackle, A power, B finesse, 6'6", 260, prototypical size, fastest 40-yard dash. Everything looks great in the dev trait to boot. We got ourselves a partner in crime with Myles Garrett for our pass rush. We're going to follow that out with a Bearcat, Dante Corleone. A double B for power and finesse move. Good greats in most of the big categories that you want. Even though there's no dev trait here, I think he gives us some nice juice on the inside while being built like a nose tackle. I'll be honest with you. We lost a lot. We're down 2 wideouts. We got guys that can step up. And Nick Anderson, free falling from the first round. 6'4", 210, offers unique size. 4.5 speed at that frame. Ain't bad. And while there's no dev trait, I don't think there's no way this base rating is probably below 70. I'll take that in the 6th round all goddamn day. So I feel real good about this draft. Usually I don't feel good about my own personal draft. I know it's a little bit tricky. It ain't bad. 67 depth tackle. Nick Anderson, free falling, first round projected, 72 overall. He's only 20 years old, so a very high ceiling. Maybe a little surprised Corleone's not breaking that 70-plus threshold, but 69's not brutal. Could be a part of that rotation early on. Being aggressive in the 2nd round, trading up to get Ethan Burke, 74 with the hidden dev for the talented pass rusher out of Texas. And it doesn't get much bigger than the man that we selected in the 1st round. Maybe surprisingly, maybe a little ahead of schedule because I don't know how we're getting out of that Deshaun Watson contract. We're not quite at that tipping point that we can, release him and not have $80 trillion of dead cap. But you know what? If you have to manage Deshaun Watson's contract and you understand that he's not that good, you got to go with a rookie quarterback contract. That's really the only way you can kind of combat that. And that is exactly what we got. Shedeur Sanders, 75. Hidden dev, already up to 76. Loves being in Cleveland. 91 throw power, 85 deep, 84 mid, 88 short. Very accurate thrower. Decent athlete as well. I think he's going to thrive in this system. I think Stefanski got a plan to make him one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL sooner rather than later. But what does that mean for Deshaun Watson? It's been a minute since we've seen something like this. Deshaun Watson does not show up to training camp. Can't handle a little bit of competition. He and his representative have demanded to be released from the Cleveland Browns organization with 2 years remaining. Still on his contract. $39 million and $41 million. I'm going to puke. So much money. There was holding out hope that, in his wiser years, he's got to try to redeem himself. Got to try to get on the clean path. Hell, maybe even develop a mentorship tag. Maybe it's not the best mentor. It's definitely probably one of the worst mentors you could have for a young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders. But you know what? Is there any way that anyone would trade for this guy? What? Really? Really? Get off my team. Give me Brady. I'll take a 240-pound machine in the backfield. And Deshaun Watson, we're shipping his ass off to L.A. Perfect spot for a creep like that. Maybe in a weird way, that whole decision, not show up to training camp, demand a trade, kind of force a trade, what we've seen him do before in Houston. Probably the best thing for Shedeur Sanders. It's not worth having a quarterback drama. There's no value outside of not having an insane amount of dead cap by keeping Deshaun Watson on this team. And with all that, just one move. We got depth at running back, and we have pushed all of the pressure, all the expectations. The franchise is now all on the shoulders of Shedeur Sanders. And I'll say this, regardless of if you think he's overrated, overhyped, or whatever, from his first year at Colorado, one thing I know for sure is that this guy can handle pressure. This guy is a big-time player, and I think he's going to be able... you know what? Give him the C! We're giving him the goddamn C. He's going to lead us over the next 9 seasons. We're going to get minimum 2 Super Bowls with Shedeur Sanders as our quarterback. Good ratings to Deshaun Watson. Have fun out there in L.A. with all those weirdo parties, you fucking loser. I appreciate this. In a drama-filled training camp, Trevin Wallace, last year's kind of breakout on the defensive side of the ball, is our training camp standout, and we're going to get him a very nice +5 tackle boost, which is going to only help him that much more as a starter with JOK. What better way Shedeur Sanders to debut than against Joe Burrow in a bitter divisional rivalry? Stunt on these hoes, please, sir. Let's go, Shedeur. Opening drive. Ricky Pearsall in the slot. And the Browns get an early lead. The dog pound is going wild for the new era here in Cleveland. Ooh, a little shake and bake. Jerry Jeudy missed tackle by Logan Wilson. And the Browns build onto their lead. Second touchdown in his debut for Shedeur Sanders. Floodgates open wide open here, baby. A little Trey Benson action in this opener as the Browns drop a 40 bomb. The defense not playing as hot, though. Bengals still in this. Let's go capping it right here. Capping it right here. Whoa, Jerry Jeudy off the back foot. The hat trick for Shedeur. The Browns go 50-burger and 1-0 to start year 2. Season not too shabby, not too great. You know, lumps and peaks and valleys and all that stuff with a rookie quarterback. 3-3, not too bad, but we're coming off a divisional win over the Steelers. We're both Shedeur Sanders on a 3-touchdown performance and Denzel Ward with 2 picks, getting players of the week. That's what we need to see. I thought this was going to be the touchy issue here with the salary cap. Now, it's one of those things, I still look at this. It's 128. That's an insane amount of salary cap. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. How much more would we have if we weren't incurring like minus $30 million? Like, we do the math. We'd have over 150 if we didn't have the dead cap from Deshaun Watson, but this is just kind of where we're at right now. Postage is a starter, but I think it's probably time to move on there and get a younger at the center spot. We have Joe Bitonio at guard. I think he's, given our salary cap, he's worth the rental. So I think we go 13 and that. Now with over $100 million of salary cap, I can only help but imagine what this would be if we didn't have 30. Oh, it'd be so much better. Okay, we're going to continue to work on Joel Bitonio. We'll get him on a rental. I'm not too worried about that. We got Wyatt Teller. Let's get him locked in for the remainder of the career. Very expensive for the offensive line, but we're now operating on a rookie quarterback contract. So why not splurge, try to keep him in the building. I think we got to do a lot of work here as well in the secondary. We got Greg Newsome. Let's try to keep him until he's 30. Like, keep him for his prime there. 5 years, $68 million. Gets that one across the line. Martin Emerson, 24-year-old superstar corner. Let's get him till he's 30, and we'll bump that up a little bit. We're not going to try to nickel and dime you. $63 million over 6 seasons. David Njoku, I think he will age gracefully. Honestly, tight end has been a position in these 10-year rebuilds I haven't really prioritized a lot, but I think Njoku is not only going to age gracefully, but I think he's going to continue to be a very valuable weapon, valuable safety net alongside Ricky Pearsall for our quarterback. So we'll come back to the table, offer Joe Bitonio maybe $1 million more on either side. Should be able to get that one across the line. And then we'll be able to take $50 million plus into free agency this year to make this team that much better. We got ourselves a breakout DB after another Pittsburgh Steelers wins, a sweep in that series. And it is Grant Delpit at strong safety, looking to make the jump up to a superstar, which will be huge because they just re-signed him not too long ago, so we still have him under contract. So to get a superstar dev safety back there, Grant Delpit finally living up to the potential that he showed at LSU would be huge for this defense. Damn, man, low-scoring game, and do we strike out again, man? Have yet to hit on a dev trait scenario. I love to just put these in rebuilds when they hit, but you got to show the misses to appreciate when these hit. In year 2, first year of the Shedeur Sanders era, and while we are, again, third in the North this year, we make the playoffs. It might be a quick trip because we got the Kansas City Chiefs, but playoffs are still playoffs, and the Cleveland Browns boast both a top 10 offense and top 10 defense. Hello, Dak Prescott got the MVP in his rookie campaign. Shedeur Sanders just outside the top 5. He also ran away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year vote. Also, shout out Nick Anderson, our wide receiver 3, making the top 3. At Shedeur, 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, which was 5th in the league, on top of 6 interceptions. Also chipped in almost 400 yards on the ground and another 3 touchdowns. Trey Benson was great, 1,300 yards, 11 tuds. We have Jerry Jeudy over 1,000, Ricky Pearsall over 1,000, both with double-digit touchdowns. Myles Garrett wins his 2nd Defensive Player of the Year. Shout out JOK, making the short list for that. We also have Ethan Burke winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. And all those guys crushed it. JOK, 132 tackles, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks, 4 picks. He's going to be a superstar dev. That's pretty much a lock. 21 TFLs, 23.5 sacks for Myles Garrett, breaking the single-season record. He is that freaking good. And on the other side, Ethan Burke, 71 tackles, 16 TFLs, 8.5 sacks for the rookie, 6 sacks for Tomlinson, 5 picks, Denzel Ward, 4 for Newsome, got a brand new shiny contract. I'm feeling real good about where this team is going, the direction they're going. It's like the entire stink of this team, underperforming of this team, left when we shipped Deshaun Watson off to LA. And you know what? Let's do this one live, man. If you beat KC, we got something special. If you lose to KC, holy shit, we beat them. I'm going to say, if we lose, you're expected to lose. Even if I have a super team, juggernaut team, you're still expected to lose to the Chiefs. And it's Shedeur Sanders' first game. He goes headhunting, and he takes down the big dog. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. The secondary was elite, only letting Mahomes get 180 yards, 1 interception. That's easily game ball to the entire secondary. Greg Newsome, game ball. Didn't make a single tackle, but you represent shutting down Mahomes, which 9 times out of 10, if I find a way to beat the Chiefs, and I shouldn't even say 9 times out of 10 because I don't beat the Chiefs at that kind of ratio. But when I can beat them, it's still Mahomes goes 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. You just went in a shootout. We shut him down. Let's go, Jim Schwartz defense. To be very, very focused that high, the highs of the high of beating the Chiefs doesn't kill off all our momentum. We didn't exert all of our energy because we got to go back to work against the very good 15-2 Jags, whose offense very much going through Travis Etienne. Their defense is the best in the country. Another one. 24-21. We got a player of the week performance here from Shedeur Sanders, the rookie. 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns. Absolute insanity during this playoff run for the Cleveland Browns. Started with KC, then the Jags, Cinderella run. And I mean, that game was fourth quarter, man. We scored 10 in the fourth, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I'm really appreciating this run because 2 touchdowns, like everyone that we would want to be producing is stepping up and producing. I will say, it doesn't seem like Myles Garrett has any sacks in the playoffs yet, but Newsome's hot, the secondary's hot, and we need to show up now as we try to stop Josh Allen and get to the Super Bowl here, year 2 with the freaking Browns. Bills are 14-3. Well, we weren't scared of the 15-2 Jags. We're not scared of the 14-3 Buffalo Bills. Top 10 offense, number 3 defense, boasting the number 1 overall rushing defense. Oh, I've never. This is awesome. This is everything we could have imagined it to be. Perfect, clean game. Shedeur Sanders. He just doesn't turn the ball over. Outstanding. Benson crushed it again. Very consistent, getting us 70, 80 yards. Jerry Jeudy with a big time performance on the defensive side. Myles Garrett got his sack going. Ethan Burke. We got another pick. And just like that, the first year with a rookie quarterback out of Colorado that people didn't think would make it in the jump from HBCU to FBS. First year as a rookie. More doubts again. He's not better than Deshaun Watson. What are they doing with Deshaun Watson? You can't draft a quarterback. Yada, yada, yada. Boom. Super Bowl. We got some big upgrades here ahead of the Super Bowl. Ethan Burke, Defensive Rookie of the Year, gets 3 upgrade points. Now, he's a star dev. I'll be very interested to see if we got the superstar. It's not as automatic as it used to be. I feel like in this year's Madden, maybe it's because with the realistic rebuild settings, we're not going with max, superstar, star dev, X factors, all that stuff. That's kind of hurting it a little bit. But hell yeah, we will definitely take that bump up there. Of course, we had the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Shedeur Sanders, who's getting his rating inflated there a lot by the morale. We don't have QB guru or anything like that on our offensive staff yet, but he's crushing. We get a nice +1 throw power, and he is also getting the benefit of a dev trait increase, now up to a superstar, and he absolutely deserves it after a hell of a rookie year going on a Cinderella run. The face of this Cinderella run. One more win, though, against Green Bay to be a legend. Look at the Green Bay Packers, not overly impressive. An 82 overall, 9-8 record, and their offense and defense sucks. We know in Madden, that's probably going to work in their favor somehow, some way in the sim, but God damn it, if I'm not trying to win a Super Bowl here with a rookie quarterback. This is a game that features 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the league. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Shedeur Sanders, Offensive Rookie of the Year, with a quartet of young weapons. Trey Benson, Jerry Jeudy, Ricky Pearsall. 2 very young offenses, honestly. Green Bay, awesome. Got a lot of youth there. Opening drive, Green Bay kicks a field goal. Instant touchdown goes the way of the Brownies. Second inch is trying to punch this one in. Go up 2 scores. I'm telling you, at some point I'm hopping in because I need it right now. 17 seconds left. Can we take a shot here? I don't really want to play action. Can we take a shot? I mean, we'll go 4 verts like we're playing Honey Hunters. If we could go into halftime up 21-3, that is going to be a gigantic for this squad. And it looked like they freaking... Oh, that just floated over the linebacker. Go, Ajoko! Run! Oh, he's on the 1! We have timeouts? I think I just called our last timeout. Come on. Punch this one in. Come on, team. Let's go. 21-3. Oh, wait, we're going to run it up at this point. 28-3. I didn't even need to hop in. I just wanted to taste our defense pitching a shutout. Jim Schwartz is actually not particularly good in Super Bowls. Literally gave up amounts of records, insane amount of records for the Eagles when we won. But he knows what it takes to seal the deal. And year 2 of our 10-year Cleveland Browns rebuild, in the same year that we drafted Shedeur Sanders, surprisingly, I didn't even really expect him to... I scouted him, right? I thought all along that, yeah, maybe the way you can pat Deshaun Watson's terrible contract is get a rookie contract and a quarterback that's better, and you kind of just, you know, go with the rookie, and then when you can cut ties with Deshaun, you cut ties with Deshaun. All right? But I didn't think he was still going to be there at pick 17 in the first round. And then you had Deshaun Watson demand a trade. And the fear of just having that much dead salary cap on your roster puts fears in me, and a rebuilder. I got to think about the long term of this. I'm going 9 more years. Do I want that dead salary cap for the next couple seasons, hindering this team's ability to build and develop and grow and sign free agents? Ship them off. The cancer got removed from this organization. Shedeur Sanders, as a rookie, completes the Cinderella run, 4-0 in the playoffs. And man, oh man, I said at the beginning, when we started these 10-year rebuilds, yes, we want to win a Super Bowl. If I don't win a Super Bowl in 10 years, I'm doing something wrong. But it's all about turning this shit into a dynasty. And a dynasty is 3 Super Bowls. And the fact that we've already cashed in 1 with 8 years left to get 2 more, it's looking pretty good. Super Bowl MVP, 4 touchdown performance. Love Ricky Pearsall balling up, but it's going with Shedeur Sanders. Coming into free agency, I need a safety. Not really a whole lot of options there. Brian Cook, maybe the best of the bunch, but even then, not really an inspiring pick. More so, I'd like to see maybe take a swing in the draft. We need a safety. We need 2 defensive tackles. This is where I set my focus scouting for the draft, assuming that's where I'm going to go, because there's just a bunch of veterans here. And even the veterans aren't like great 1-year rentals. As we look through, they're just very expensive, and I don't want to overpay for that. And we also need a center, but I can draft pretty well. We're back into the Madden generated draft classes. So I'm confident we'll be able to find a center second, third round that should be able to be a day 1 starter. So that's not bad. Rolling over $71 million of cap room. Given where we started, where we had no money, it's going to feel pretty good next year to be able to probably sign and re-sign any and everybody that we want to. All right, so we earned the right to pick at 32. Great. I guarantee all the guys I wanted are gone. Yep. And the ones that... I did want, and I did scout, are garbage. J.J. Oakman might be the best remaining, because we do need D tackle, A tackle, B block shed, double C's there, the combine elite strength. I do like that. Athletically, under the 5. What do we got at safety? There was a couple good safeties here. I did scout Alford, double B, double C. The B-man's important. The combine, not the best, to be honest. Damn. All right, we'll go Oakman on the D-line. Usually big-time athlete like this could roll a dev trade. Damn. Not gonna lie, I don't like the board that's left. There's no corner. I'm going, honestly, big corners. Can they convert to safety? We do get one with a dev trade here, which is pretty cool. But can you tackle? What is your tackle? Do I get to see that in his skills? I hope that's a B, because you might be moving to free safety as a rookie, bud. Well, there's only one draftable center left. B run block. It's a blind pick. It's a hey. Can't take any credit on this guy being a hit. Just the only center left. That's how I got a hidden dev center. Man, oh man, I love it when these guys get generated. B deep route running. Elite speed, jumping, agility, acceleration. They don't exist all the time. A lot of times they are dev trait. We didn't luck out with a hidden dev here, but I guarantee this rating is going to be very, very high. He's going to be probably the highest rated player in the entirety of the 5th round. We might have ourselves a generational kicker on our hands. A awareness, A kick accuracy, elite kick power, hidden dev. He could be 85. He could be 77. Let's go. Man, this punter looks like he could be pretty good. Not necessarily generational, but accuracy's not too bad. Decent kick power. I think there still would be a pretty good rating on him as well. Definitely 70 plus. Let's look around the division before we look at our draft. Bengals, pretty middle of the mall, to say the least. The Pittsburgh Steelers, pretty good job. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 70 plus players, headlined by a 75 pass rusher with a hidden depth. Not bad as they look to get younger and retool that pass rush a little bit. The Baltimore Ravens crushed it with their first 2 picks. 75 guard in the second round, 77 running back in the first. Perry Griggs could be their new franchise running back. But man, oh man, I'm telling you right now, the Cleveland Browns, Super Bowl champions, had the best. Not one player below a 70. The kicker, hidden dev, 79. 74 for Hoskins, 72 wide receiver, 70 running back, 73 center, hidden dev, 70 corner, not my best pick, hidden dev, and we got Oakman, 76 with a normal. So it started with a little bit of a wet fart. It's not getting the highest ceiling D tackle he possibly could, but for pound, that is an S tier draft class. And let it be known, the highest rated player is my kicker. All right, pretty good roll. J.J. Oakman, our first round pick, who unfortunately was a normal dev. It's only week 2 of the regular season. It gets a breakout scenario to get off that ugly normal dev and get up to a star here against divisional rival Pittsburgh Steelers. And we get a very slim win, 17-10. And we finally hit a dev trait scenario in season, and suddenly that first round pick looks a lot better. So the midway point here of year number 3, trying to defend our Super Bowl championship. Not bad. Sitting atop the AFC North. 1 game lead over the Ravens and Bengals, 5-2. Where our offense is top 10, our defense is top 10, but our rushing yards need to pick up, and our rushing defense needs to pick up. Now, we yet again have a disgusting amount of salary cap, so any and everybody that we want to keep is up for grabs. Up first, we have Joel Bitonio, who I think we're probably going to be just signing him to 1-year deals until he decides to retire. We'll see if we can get him on a 1-year 21, which is insane for a guard, but we literally, where else are we going to spend that money? We got Myles Garrett, who let's lock him in for 5 years. Lock him in. He's cheat code. Absolute cheat code. Worth the price of admission. 5 years, 188. And I'm not worried about it. We still have over $100 million. So we got Jerry Jeudy. Let's go 460. Get him a 31. Usually I like 30s to cut off to reevaluate, but we'll go 31. We have Grant Delpit. I like the fact that he is just looking for a 3-year deal, because that's definitely when you kind of want to cash out of some of these DBs. So we'll give him 3 years, 51 mil, and not worry about it. Still $74 million remaining. We do have D. Caver, a star dev. He's probably going to lose that dev trade. DeJuan Jones has been a good servant to us. That's a lot. Like, his ceiling is going to be, what, 85, 86. I'll offer him this. If he declines, okay, I was going to say, if he declined that, I was looking for a re-up at a bigger number, because those are some pretty big numbers. And linemen just don't, like, it's going to be very unlikely he gets a dev trait scenario, so he's likely going to be capped his ceiling and his XP earn rate over that length of the contract. But, I mean, it just feels like it's a Cleveland Browns thing to do. Prioritize and invest in the offensive line. And, hey, we won a Super Bowl last year doing it. Don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, we got another breakout scenario now. We had to figure out who's going to start at free safety for us this year. It was a spot that we just couldn't get in free agency in the draft. So I did move Dwight McLaughlin, who I am a fan. I went on record on Twitter in 2024 Twitter for the NFL draft that Dwight McLaughlin out of Arkansas feels like he's one of my dudes. Now, he was just a depth DB. He was our best tackling DB. Moved into free safety. He is normal dev. This could be nice. This could be the start of something beautiful. Nice. We get the win, 32-18 over the Pittsburgh. That's been the number one thing that's Myles Garrett is just obviously crushing it this year. But the one thing that stood out to me into this rebuild is we've handled business in the division. Ravens, we sweep them usually. Steelers, we sweep them pretty much every time. Bengals has been a little bit more hit or miss, but still feel pretty good about it. Let's see, do we hit the breakout on Dwight McLaughlin? And we do. We got ourselves a developmental free safety, ladies and gentlemen. So with that breakout, we're going to give Dwight McLaughlin a 4-year deal, and it's incredibly affordable. It's like 4 years, like under $10 million. It's insane, and that's what you get when you take a gamble on guys like this. You get a little bit of a discount, right? Then in year 3, we did exactly that. of defending our Super Bowl championship. We go 14-3. We get our first AFC North title. We are the 1 seed in the AFC, and not a lot went wrong. Number 2 offense, top 5 defense. Shedeur finishes just outside the top 5, and I think he was maybe a little hard done by. And you know what? Is there a little bit of people don't like him because of his dad and how his dad handles things? Maybe that's kind of what's coming into play here. When you're the 1 seed and your quarterback's 7th in yards, 2nd in touchdowns, I feel like you should be getting a little more respect for the award of MVP. Ricky Pearsall had a hell of a year, runner-up for Offensive Player of the Year, as well as Wide Receiver of the Year. Caroline Nuclear in the slot, 93 catches, 1,500 yards, and 16 touchdowns. 1,010 there for Jerry Jeudy. I will say I am regretting a little bit paying big money to David Njoku. He's kind of, that's been his ceiling a little bit in the sim, and you kind of want to see a little more than that. 300 yards for Benson as a receiver, 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns for him. Kind of surprising as well. We are still Brown's offensive playbook. Haven't touched any of that because it's Stefanski's. So does that mean like Nick Benson's just that's the gap between a Benson and a Chubb? Because Nick Chubb always puts up like top 5 rushing numbers. Or B, is just Benson not him? He's good, but not great. Going to the defensive side, the first year Myles Garrett has not won Defensive Player of the Year. He was runner-up for both that and D-Lineman of the Year. Still a great season, 62 tackles, 13 TFLs, 19 sacks, 8.5 from our other superstar pass rusher, Ethan Burke, 4.5 for J.J. Oakman on 10 TFLs, which was good enough to get him a Defensive Rookie of the Year. So suddenly just a good player that, oh man, that dev trade sucks. Earn a dev trade in season, might be able to double that here off of this award and his production. First round of the playoffs is the 9-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. 86 overall. They look solid. Top 10 rushing offense, top 5 rushing defense. Kind of their strengths are our weakness, so it could make for an awkward matchup. But we're able to handle business in an ugly one. 13-7, low-scoring matchup. In a matchup where we got Denzel Ward, Defensive Player of the Week, 7 tackles, with a very important interception. Now, standing between us and a second straight Super Bowl appearance is the toughest team, in my opinion, that we've faced so far in the division, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals, 85 overall. Very good offense. Everything else, the belly there is a little bit soft. Ball up homework type abs of the Bengals there as far as their ranks. 24th, 25th, 31st. Defense, not particularly good, but their offense can trade points with anybody. And we fall. It's not good enough, man. 24-14. Low scoring. We had the turnover. They didn't. Neither team really could run the ball. Jamar Chase is kind of the only skill position player that went off. And again, on the defense side of the ball, even though Wallace had a monster performance, which was player of the week, you know, our defense, where's Myles Garrett at? And the one turnover went their favor. Frustrating, but at the end of the day, I can't be too mad because we simply were not good enough in this matchup. It wasn't like it was a shootout. We all had 4 touchdowns. Our great defense wasn't the tiebreaker against their bad defense. But their defense sucked. And our offense could only put up 14 points. Maybe the only time that it's all right that Dallas wins. Is that, you know, divisional rival, the team that beat us, they ended up losing. So I guess thanks, Dallas. Appreciate it, dog. Big moves for our team in closing. Ricky Pearsall up from star to superstar dev after his breakout campaign, but maybe none upgrade more impactful than Shedeur Sanders. Shortlist for the MVP, getting his superstar X Factor, and man, oh man, is he going to cost a lot of money when we have to come pay him here in 2 seasons' time. On the defensive side of the ball, we added Greg Newsome is up to a superstar dev, and Oakman, our normal dev draft pick, once upon a time, finishes after in-season dev trade increase and Defensive Rookie of the Year as a superstar dev. Did have a couple retirements is Dalvin Tomlinson and Joel Bitonio, who we did just reach an extension with for 1 more year. Both decided to hang it up. That is a lot of money coming back our way, as Tomlinson was our 2nd most expensive D lineman, and Bitonio was our most expensive O lineman. We go to free agency. We need a guard. Torrance is easily the best, but I really think it's probably going to be in our best interest. Just try to draft the best interior lineman available. We probably won't even, unless they're really, really good, we probably won't even have to use that until, you know, 2nd round, 3rd round, something like that. We need a D tackle to replace Tomlinson, who was a starter, and it's just maybe a betting at a dev trait. That'd be interesting. Javon Dexter there as well. But look at these guys, normal dev players, looking for $7 million plus. I will say we've got a decent role that our team needs have been some of the easier positions to draft. like D-tackle, interior lineman. You can find those usually first 3-4 rounds. All right, we got a big draft here, people. When you're not as aggressive in free agency as we have been, it's going to be some good to that. The good is going to be when it comes time to pay, such as, oh, shout out Tito Alvarez. Love that first name. When it comes time to pay Shedeur, I mean, we're not going to have a whole lot of fat contracts out there. But we need to find our talent somewhere. We need to acquire our talent, and we desperately need a defensive tackle. Now, we could cheese this one and just go with some of these big boys here. But I would more rather try to get a stud. Beckham looks all right. Has the A finesse move. Has the best stat of all these guys that are up. But look, I mean, double B's there for both Dykes and Ballard. Of course, the D-tackle I scout is already long gone. It's not bad. Dykes looks actually kind of nice there. Ballard also looks kind of nice. Bench press a little low. And by Dykes, it's Dukes. Or the glasses. It's the glasses. Let's go Dukes, I guess. I mean, drafted a normal dev D-tackle last year and it worked out. We're just going to go BPA on the interior, and that is center. Shane Ward has a size and profile that he can play anywhere on the interior. We got 3 A's and a B. Couple of elites thrown in there as well. He was an instant, easy hidden dev projection, and we got exactly that. I don't know about this guy, but when was the last time you saw a 6'5" corner? I like the look of him. Here's our short board here. We have Joe Whitlock, who also looks kind of decent at the guard spot. I think we got to go on the interior. I don't know. 6'5" corner, though. Our corner room's so stacked, it doesn't really make sense, but trying to swing and hit on another dev trait lineman. Missed. All right, my last player. It's a UDFA, but he looks good. AA, B break tackle, elite jumping, pretty good speed, 4.4. Projected UDFA, I don't care. This guy's a stud and a great addition to our backfield. All right, so looking at our draft recap. Feel, decent after our short list. The depth of this draft wasn't the best, but Dodson for a UDFA 75 hidden dev, that is an absolute steal, even in the 4th round, it's a steal. Whitlock, a little bit of wet fret that he's a normal dev, but still a 70-plus lineman in the 3rd round. Ward, 72 with a hidden dev. Duke, 71 normal, though. Let's not make it a habit. Let's commit that this is going to be the last year that we're going to burn, even though we're picking at the ass end of the 1st round. Our 1st round picks with normal depth chart, because it's not going to be healthy, it's not going to be reliable, it's not going to be consistent, trying to rely on winning offensive and defensive rookie of the year, trying to rely on getting in-season dev trait scenarios like we did with our D-tackle last year. It's just not going to happen. The easier way is just, come on, C4, step it up, draft better players. Bengals coming off a Super Bowl loss had a hell of a draft. Oh my God, they got the 6'5" corner. This is normal dev. I would have, if that was a hidden dev, I would have been real mad. Normal dev, we drafted a 72, 73 guard, whatever it was, so it's not that big of a discrepancy, but annoying that they got that big dog, and they went out and got another corner here, Mike Borden, 77 hidden dev. Good draft for the Bengals, especially being the biggest losers of last year as the Super Bowl losers. Hell of a draft. Take a look at the Ravens, not bad. It looks like everyone got some corners here. Mello Thomas, 76, only a normal dev, but not a bad draft there. And the Steelers to bring it home, not the best. But they got a nice value QB, 2nd round quarterback, 73 normal out of Washington. What do we got here? Looks all right. Now we're in year 4. Try to bounce back, and the AFC North is just nuclear. 5-3 is usually good enough to be first, at worst 2nd, and we are 2 games back, and we're tied for last. So it is going to be an absolute bloodbath for the final 7 weeks of this season, but we're still not out of it. And with $79 million salary cap, gives us a decent amount of wiggle room here to retain any and all that we want. We got Denzel Ward. Let's see if we can lock him in for 2 years. Got it. We got Ricky Pearsall, who's been absolutely electric. I have no problem. 4-year, $57 million coming off a breakout season. Now, here's where it gets a little tight. We got Trevin Wallace, who's been awesome. 5 years, $68 million, get him locked in. Now the question comes, do we pay a running back? We just drafted a now 76 hidden dev. And the reality is Benson has been obviously name value, real player. Arguably the top running back in the 2024 NFL draft. But those numbers, You know, obviously he's crushing it this year. I feel like we don't need to pay a running back in our system here. Let alone one that, you know, that's a little pricey. 10 mil, 8, 9, $10 million. But also, what is his ceiling? 99? How about this? Let's set a goal here because his career stats look like he's having a career year. If Benson goes 1,500 yards and or 15 touchdowns, I'll pay him. If not, this will be the sacrifice we make in this rebuild, starting with Nick Chubb. Benson's just going to, you know, we're going to Philadelphia Eagle this. Benson will just be another name in the long line of running backs. We don't pay him. We keep on moving on because we got Shedeur Sanders' contract over the horizon. Something's got to give. And the fact that it just feels like this is an offense that if you don't have a Nick Chubb, and Benson could develop into a Nick Chubb type, but if you don't have a Nick Chubb, you're just getting, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 1,000 yards. You're going to get 10, 11 touchdowns, as long as you have a solid running back in there. And we just drafted a hidden dev rookie. So we'll give Benson a shot if he earns it, but if not, you know, thanks for everything. Oh, yeah, what a perfect week. Week 14, we beat the Chiefs. We likely hit on what is going to be a trench boost scenario, back-to-back games, no sacks by our offensive line, but we got some young linemen there that are massively going to, benefit from getting 10,000 XP across the board, which is badass. Also, a player of the week performance in this matchup for, the Godfather, Dante Corleone, trying to make the most D-tackle 2-spot up for grabs between him and our little bit of a wet fart first-round pick. Goddamn, he's standing out here. At the end of year 4, we made the playoffs in what is an absolute bloodbath in the AFC North. 11-6 is third place in your division. I hope this is just an outlier year, and this is not the new norm. But we got the Chiefs, who we beat in the regular season. They're looking for revenge. We're actually a better roster across the board. 91s. We might get a shot here, but it's the Chiefs in the playoffs. It's the hardest role you can get in Madden 24. We only had one award winner. Myles Garrett back on top, Defensive Player of the Year. Little surprised with the numbers here from Shedeur Sanders. 3,700 yards, only 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. I said 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns for Trey Benson. He got one of those two parameters. We got Dotson here. Did his dev trait pop yet? Did not. But, I mean, when you got this guy waiting in the wings on a rookie contract, I don't know. Pearsall, love that he had still a strong season. 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. A little bit of a drop-off there from Jerry Jeudy. Njoku's production was up a little bit. Defensively, we're running through Myles Garrett. 23.5 sacks. Breaking or tying his own new single-season sack record. We got 10.5 from Burke. He's another guy, much like Shedeur Sanders. He's going to cost a lot. Second-round pick, has made the most of it, has thrived and developed on the other side of Myles Garrett. 91 superstar at only 23 years old. Clearly a guy we have to keep. We just have to keep. They're both producing. And obviously, Myles Garrett's not getting any younger. And there's going to come a point where Garrett retires, and Ethan Burke's going to have to be our new Myles Garrett. Dante Corleone, breakout season for a 76. He's getting pretty close to is he? No, he is. He's getting paid next year. I will say, for as talented as our secondary is, interceptions have been very disappointing in this rebuild so far. God damn, we sweep the Chiefs! 28-17. Ethan Burke, 2 sacks on 5 tackles. Let's freaking go. And we win and we go to the next round, a team that we've surprisingly owned in this rebuild for the most part. Maybe not so much this year, but we've been sweeping Baltimore consistently for the first 3 years of this rebuild. Now we meet them in the playoffs as they are the top dogs, the 1 seed. Let's keep it here alive. Let's roll it. Let's do it, baby. Come on, handle business. Oh, yeah. 19-7. Our defense stands up. And the Browns are just living in the AFC Championship game. We got Josh Allen, the Bills coming up next. We're going to be tough. I think big picture, I'm a little worried Shedeur Sanders is going to lose his X factor. Didn't even throw 30 touchdowns this year. So this might be the last little window for him being a X factor for a minute. Trey Benson is trying his best to get a contract extension. He is killing it. Man, I really don't want to pay. I honestly just feel like, as Myles Garrett had a decent job, I feel like we are going to regret paying him. even though he's doing everything in his power to justify a contract. I mean, Shedeur Sanders is going to want like $300 million. That Ethan Burke's going to want $100-some million. And when you got a running back that's during those years is going to be making $10 million cap hits, oh, man, it's tough. All right, let's auto-spend our upgrades here. Keep it alive against Buffalo AFC Championship game. Got a lot of players who are going to be a little bit better this week. And when you look at how it's made, damn, they're pretty damn good. Even though we are 6 overall points better, their offense is playing better this year. Defense kind of break each other out. And the Browns are back in the Super Bowl. 28-13. Shedeur Sanders, player of the week performance. Let's go. Dynasty mode. Let's get that second of 3 Super Bowls. Let's go, baby. Browns, Falcons. The last time we went to the Super Bowl, we beat the Green Bay Packers. This time we're going up against a known cheese team in the NFC. Oh, no. We didn't even show up, man. This is brutal. I mean, if we come in here and get a touchdown, defensive stop. But, I mean, this clock is just a burning. Embarrassing. We've made a lot of Super Bowls in these 10-year rebuilds that we've done. That's the most embarrassing. The most one-sided, lopsided ass-kicking. Embarrassing. So at the end of the year, we have a couple tough decisions. One is, like, should I even take... Like, I'm going to pay Shedeur Sanders. But, like, $60 million cap hit seems like... I don't want to pick that up and just give him a new I think I'm like, I don't know. I always just automatically pick up the 5th year option, but I don't want to the cap. If I give him a long-term deal, which I want to, that cap is going to be what, 45? It's going to be less than 60. I can tell you that. So I'm not actually going to pick up the 5th year option, and we are going to give him a contract extension. Now, Trey Benson's a tough one because he just went up superstar dev 91. Didn't quite make the parameters where I said he needs to get 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. He got 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. However, we got a little more clarity to the backfield, which I think you're going to agree with me, that opposed to paying Trey Benson $10, $11, and $12 million a year for the remainder of his prime, on top of having to pay Shedeur Sanders $1 trillion. I almost wish for the story we did get him as a UDFA, because he was a UDFA grade running back. Parker Dotson was 75 hidden dev. He's a superstar. So I think at this price point, this is our guy. I wish, just for the story, like we got him in the 7th round and out of nowhere. But we're not going to pay. You know, we could maybe entertain the backfield like the Browns used to have. Peak Nick Chubb, peak Kareem Hunt, and run that with Trey Benson and Dotson. But the reality is the salary cap is not a myth. We are not Howie Roseman. And we'll go with the cheap superstar right now and appreciate Trey Benson and everything he's done for us. And look at our squad going into free agency. This is as complete of a roster as you're going to have going into a year 5. And again, knowing that we have to pay Shedeur Sanders, especially taking out that 5th year option, I'm not even going to look at free agency. We're just going to go to the draft and hopefully draft very, very well. So going into the draft, I snuck a little peek ahead at who has to get paid outside of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders and Ethan Burke and Dante Corleone, who had a little bit of a breakout at D-tackle. Those are the 3 guys who are up for contract. Kind of the odd man out there is Corleone. We have to pay Shedeur. Hopefully we have enough to pay Burke. So then we kind of have to, D-tackle could be a spot that we want to look elsewhere. And we got a guy here that's fallen to us. Deontay Edwards out of Boston College. 6'4", 297, A power, B finesse. Looks pretty good. Elite speed jumping. Yep, ticking off a lot of boxes. Almost a 4.6 40 at 300 pounds. Sign me up for that every day of the week. Now in the 2nd round, I'm kind of looking at like where might we save money if we don't, because we have to pay Sanders and Burke. So David Njoku is probably the most expendable player that we have right now on offense. And I got this guy, David Cheeks, A, catching traffic, A, catching, A, run block, B, deep route running. Combine's not the best, letting him down a little bit. But those letter grades are good enough for me to dive right in and say, yeah, I'll gamble that you are going to be a stud, and you give us likely a cost-controlled option that if we do need to make a tough decision when it comes to salary cap, David Njoku is easily the biggest expendable player right now, especially for his production. We paid him a big sum of money, especially for a tight end. He's regressing. He's not justifying that contract, so we got a little bit of insurance there in case we need to get our hands a little dirty and start releasing some players. The board is absolutely terrible right now, so we are going to try and get the best value we possibly can for next year's draft. We can get a third, a fifth, and a... All right, thank you for doing business, Buff. Honestly, I'm going to sim this one up. My board, it's terrible. Like, usually when I sim draft, I still have my favorites, and the board will draft off of your... They didn't exist. There wasn't one guy that looked like he was offering any value day 3. And it happens. Sometimes you get those god-awful rolls. And, I mean, maybe we locked into a dev trade here from the CPU. I doubt it. We're not really getting much in terms of athletes. So we'll see if it comes up on the team sheet. But I love our first 2 picks, man. Dante Edwards, 75 hidden dev D tackle. David Cheeks, could have even got him in the 3rd round, potentially. 77 hidden dev. Hell, I might even see if we can get some sort of value from Njoku. Bengals had a pretty, average draft to say the least. Got good value there in the 5th round with the running back. The Pittsburgh Steelers, solid draft. Built through the trenches there a little bit. Also landed a running back. And for the Baltimore Ravens, they really only got 1 valuable player. So this is very much advantage Cleveland Browns in terms of draft. To kick off year 5. We got ourselves a 3rd round pick in return for David Njoku and a lot of extra salary cap so that we can pay our big dogs this year. I feel like I've been staying on top of this rebuild. Haven't been missing anything, slipping on the crack. I'm going to show you, like, this guy's been on our team. He's been here. I don't remember. Is he the 6'3" corner? I remember this guy we drafted and moved to say he's a superstar. Before we moved Dwight McLaughlin to safety, I did draft this guy at the point in time because he was 6'3". And I was like, maybe, hopefully he can play safety. He's just been buried on the depth chart. Haven't even looked. He hasn't played, hasn't regressed. We just got a 76 superstar corner sitting. Like, there's no path for him to play right now, I don't think. Like, do I just make him? Like, do we bump him instead of, like, what? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move him to free safety, and if he is even a remotely similar rate, because the depth trade's going to propel him past McLaughlin, maybe we look at trying to trade Dwight McLaughlin a little bit. Or, oh, man, he's 71. He's way down there. Damn. I mean, I think that's just one of those things. Like, he'll get more use as corner 4, but Jesus. 76. That makes you wonder, like, do we... I don't think we pull the trigger now like we did with Njoku. But I suppose, Denzel Ward's getting up there in age a little bit. Do we get this guy on the field? Like, what does the trade market look for? Like, do we entertain that? It's 31. What do we got? 3rd round pick and a center. Zach Frazier. He's under contract as well. We got Jahan Dotson. Got another center. Got Jordan Davis. Got a right tackle there. I mean, seeing these players that are getting thrown in. That guy, now that looks something up my alley. 83 guard. Wyatt Teller's not getting any younger. But is that guy in a contract year? That is the question. I think we entertain this, but I'm getting thirds in players. Like, do you think I could go to the New York Giants and get a straight-up 2nd round pick for them? I'm going to try that. All right, good doing business with you. We're continuing to trim. I don't want to say trim the fat. That's disrespectful to Denzel Ward. But the fact of the matter is we just got this superstar corner. Denzel Ward's already our corner 3. So we're able to send him and a 4th round pick to the New York Giants for a 2nd and a 3rd. That gives us 4 3rd round picks here in 2029. And I think ideally now in a perfect world, knowing that we got 2 2nds, 4 3rds, I think we use those as a potential package with our 1st to trade up ideally we're going to be picking, well, I don't want to say ideally because it's not ideal in the context of a draft, but ideally this season goes well and we're picking on the back end, we're picking deep in the playoffs. Might help us trade up into the teens, and we could potentially get a big-time stud there, BPA type scenario. If we see a generational guy that starts to smell a little good, could be aggressive and go get him as well. But I appreciate Denzel Ward for his service. Best of luck to finish out your career with the Giants. Tell you what, 86, our new starting cheeks, our new starting tight end. I think we got something here, fellas. Like, he might not have get away from the cock speed, but his route running at the line, like, he's been beating press by safeties and linebackers way more than any other rookie tight end I can remember. All right, we're back. It's Friday night. Tomorrow is 420, so we're gonna get going here. We gotta pick this pace up a little bit. We still got 6 more years to go. Okay. What do we got? Well, this is we've been planning for this one. We've been planning for it. I don't gotta worry about anybody else. We drafted your replacement. It's really down to 2 players. First is Shedeur Sanders. Now, we declined his 5th-year option, which was going to be about $60 million a year. And look, that's already going to pay immediate dividend. We would have paid $60. We can get him for under that for most of this contract as long as he wants to buy in. Now, 6 years, we're going to lock him in for the remainder of the rebuild. And I mean, he's almost already a perfect 99 quarterback. He is going to be absolutely credible. We'll leave this. I don't know if he's going to accept this or not. We probably... I don't even have enough to offer him this? What? $8 million. Can I even pay you? Okay, I got you locked in for 6. Huh. Be honest, man, I'm looking through these. I'm not seeing where and how we're that tight against the cap. Like, we have some decently sized contracts. Well, I mean, our 2 off-ball linebackers being pretty high paid certainly is a pain in the ass. But, all right, Myles Garrett, gigantic contract. Ethan Burke, gigantic contract. I mean, yeah. Could be rough. I mean, he's one of those guys. We have depth at Garrett. Look at what. How do we have $97 million of cap room? That is a lie. Unless that's what we're going to have at the end of the year. And if that's the case, do we just wait and gamble? Don't throw it an extension yet. I think that's what we got to do. Because something's up with my cap. I'm shocked that I had that little. Especially moving David Njoku and Denzel Ward off the books. There wasn't that much dead salary cap. We should be in the green off of that. Like, 97 makes sense for my roster. I don't know. Maybe that's the number we'll get at the end of the year. We obviously we'll find a way to make, even if I have to destroy half the team, we'll find a way to make this work. All right, we got to break out DB Dwight McGlothern. Our once upon a time corner turned safety, looking to become another one of the many superstar dev players on this team, offense and defense. Ooh, man, we kicked the living crap out of the Patriots, but McGlothern unable to get a bump up there. 42 with Shedeur, 5 touchdowns. Shedeur, Mr. I'm not going to sign Sanders. Which, I mean, you know, if worse comes to worse, we franchise tag him and then destroy the team trying to keep that off. But we have excellent scenarios here against these 7-6 Ravens. We'll keep it here live. We have bench boost, which it almost always hits. You can get 2. There's 2 variations. One is no sacks, which I don't think I've ever seen it not hit, which is a free 10,000K XP to your entire offensive line. And the other scenario is like based off of your rushing yards. Like if you have 0 to 100, you get like 1,000 XP. 100 to 150 or something like that, you get 2,500. And if you go over 200, you get your 10K, which is, I mean, it's not really scaled properly. But on top of that, we also have a breakout scenario for Shedeur Sanders, which already as an X-Factor quarterback means that if he hits this, it is going to be a gigantic bump up in XP for him, which, I mean, he's almost a 99 overall. But there is a shot, I think, with Shedeur that we might be able to get him 99 in every single archetype, which I don't think I've been able to do that yet with a quarterback. Just off where he's at with his trajectory, we will see. So we lose Oh, 37-31. Shedeur, 4 total touchdowns on the day. Hell of a performance from the kid in a losing effort. Was it 4 touchdowns for his breakout? Do we need the win as well? Don't know. No, I think it might have just been 4 touchdowns. He hits it. So we get 15K. Let's go. On top of what I assume. I mean, we did lose. Maybe keeping this one here live might be the first time I've never hit bench boost. But back-to-back games without allowing. It's like, I don't know if this is glitched or bugged, but, you know, I know a lot of people, when you sim franchise, you just skip from point A to point B. It's worth it. It's just, it takes, over the course of 1 year, it might take an extra 5 minutes just to sim every single week by week and see what kind of scenarios pop up. Because a lot of times, man, you know, you get this. You might get, sometimes I've got this twice in a year. So that's 20,000 XP. And when you have a bunch of linemen that are 25, 24, 25, 23 even, rookies with dev traits, this is huge. This is 1-2 overall point buffs multiple times a season potentially. Just showing you under the hood of Shedeur Sanders, we are now going to officially bring him up to a 99 overall. He's 24 years old. We still have him for the remainder of this rebuild, and we might as well work from the bottom and our way up. We're going to get on the scrambler. I do think we will hit 99 in every single one of these archetypes, probably by the time he's 26, 27. Also, to accompany the earlier season clips and highlights of Cheeks before we knew his dev trait, I said he felt different. And that is a superstar dev rookie tight end. Let's freaking go. And we close out year 5, 12-5, our second AFC North title. Top 5 defense, top 10 offense. We're coming off a week 18 victory over the Jets. Where Myles Garrett padding his stats just a little bit there. 10 tackles, 4 sacks. Didn't really affect our positioning a whole lot in the standings. Already had the division locked up, but hey, we're trying to chase greatness there with Myles Garrett. With the pace that he's set so far in this rebuild, he might be chasing that all-time sack leader record. And we're coming after you, Bruce Smith, you stat patter. Yeah, I said it. Reggie White's an Eagle, too, by the way. Packer fans, you could fuck off. Pardon my French. Sorry for swearing. Sorry for cussing. Yeah, we crushed it this year. Very nice. Very happy with this performance. Our team is very much peaking. And we say all these nice things with the fact that our franchise quarterback, 99 X Factor quarterback, face of this rebuild, got his picture in the thumbnail, everything like that, is unsigned. And we should honestly be pretty terrified about the future of this team until we get him locked under contract. Shedeur makes the MVP shortlist this year, top 10. When you break down the numbers, top 10 in passing yards, 12th in touchdowns, very low on the interception rate. Also had 6 rushing touchdowns on top of that. Not a bad year from Dotson as well. I mean, again, when we broke down Trey Benson, we're like, can't we? It helps that Dotson was also a superstar depth. That's probably the reason why we ultimately didn't pay Trey Benson. But I had this feeling like it's interchangeable running backs here unless you're Nick Chubb. And that's exactly what we got here with Dotson. But we had no award winners. Pearsall crushed it in the slot. 1,200 yards, 16 touchdowns. I love that my Gator bias led me to pick him because he's been incredible. And go draft him, Philadelphia Eagles, IRL. Jerry Jeudy going over 1,000 yards. Anderson was solid. Cheeks was decent. Slightly better than what we were getting out of David Njoku. On the defensive side, JOK and Wallace continue to be tackle machines. We've got 18 sacks and 12 sacks from Burke. So, yep. Getting what we pay for there, which is great. That's not always the case in rebuilds. When you pay edge rushers, you don't get what you pay for. That's what we're doing. 5 picks for Emerson, 5 picks for Newsom. So finally, it's expensive secondary that all has great dev traits and upside are finally producing. Maybe it was Denzel Ward hoarding these guys back from getting big-time interception numbers. So the first round of the playoffs, we got the Miami Dolphins. They look solid. It's kind of surprising that their defense is better than their offense. You don't think of that for a Mike McDaniel team. But we're able to handle business 31-23 in a week. That Myles Garrett, 9 tackles and a sack, gets Defensive Player of the Week. Then our path to avenge last year's Super Bowl loss. We are going to have to take on the Chiefs. So we'll auto-spend here. We got to upgrade. Make sure we have the best team possible. But the last time we played the Chiefs in the sim, we beat them. So maybe we are their kryptonite. Maybe Shedeur Sanders is always going to be able to get this. That is, I'm going to say right now, this has a chance to be our most impressive 10-year rebuild. As long as we can make this into a dynasty and get those 3 Super Bowl thresholds, the fact that we have not sweated once the Kansas City Chiefs in the sim has been incredibly impressive. Shedeur Sanders, 3 touchdown performance, outdueling, and his boy Travis Hunter crushing it as well for the Colts. But Shedeur, Player of the Week performance against Mahomes and Andy Reid, putting us in the big-time AFC Championship game. 3rd straight year we have featured in this. We have the Bills, who look pretty solid. Are they better than us? I don't think so. But they're good enough that we could potentially lose, and I don't think it'd be, we'd be calling bullshit. But we'll spend the point here to get him to another 99 archetype in strong arm, which some people may say is the kind of knock against Shedeur Sanders. Does he have good enough arm talent to really thrive at the next level? I think so. I think he has enough zip. It does look kind of weird. I'm going to be honest, the release is a little weird. But either way, come on. Let's get back to the Super Bowl revenge tour. Complete the story. Let's go. And it's a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Falcons-Browns 2. And we have Jeff. Who is that? No name guy. That's like one of those ones, special team play maybe. Forced fumble, fumble recovery, touchdown is the difference maker to stop Josh Allen going nuclear. And the good guys, the Cleveland Browns, who I think are firmly the best team, after getting absolutely dominated last year's Super Bowl. Look at this super team that the Falcons got. 90 overall. 15-2. God damn, let's go look at that roster real quick. So they got the familiar faces, Kyle Pitts, Jesse Bates, Bijan Robinson. They drafted Drake May. That's kind of starting to make sense. Terrell, Chris Lindstrom, Jalen Ramsey, Charvarius Ward. So they've been spending pretty big in free agency. Bryce Huff from the Eagles. All right. Pretty good. Now, because we got our ass kicked last year, maybe I'll be a little more quick to hop in if this game starts to get a little out of control. There's no way we're going to lose back-to-back to the Falcons, are we? Okay, as long as the clock's not running here, we're going to go for this. We desperately need a touchdown. Look, it was. The clock was going to run right into halftime. I'm too old. I've seen it all. I know every single way this game's going to try to fuck me over. Oh, that's like, why does that exist? That whole scenario. All right, 3rd and goal. We got Ricky Pearsall's up to an X factor in the slot. We just do it ourselves. The Shedeur way. You got to show that, the rollie off, the Shedeur. Call this one the Shedeur. And we're going to come. My God, man. Why are the Falcons our kryptonite? That's what I want to know. Why is it this difficult? We're going to bail. We'll just get the first down. I mean, we got to go quick. We got to get this touchdown. Of course you're not going to get me the score. 3rd and 8. We got Pearsall in the slot. Cheeks. Jerry Jeudy. We're going to go to Pearsall in the slot. Breaks the tackle. And the Browns are within 3 of tying this one up. Honestly, just give me a defensive stop here. We cannot lose back to back. The rivalry's already there. From now on, if we make a Super Bowl and it's Atlanta, we know what it means. We go to Cheeks. Go! Oh, put it in. Oh my God, he hit the nos. He hit the. We got to score too quickly. 58 seconds left. I've seen this before. I've seen this story before. I've seen that story before. Oh, it's so bullshit. God damn it. I mean, they're also probably saying it's bullshit. These guys just got speed and they just keep beating us deep. We got no timeouts. This is going to have to be it. Pearsall, Jerry Jeudy wants to win. Fuck! All right, so we're going to do all we can do with Shedeur Sanders, and that is franchise tag him at a simply absurd amount and deal with the fallout. That's all we can do. So I'm going to dump some salary here. I got Jerry Jeudy, Wyatt Teller, and I have the Tennessee Titans offer me an X-Factor wide receiver, a 3rd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick. Now, that is incredibly unrealistic. This is still somewhat a realistic rebuild. I could take advantage of them, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to Tennessee, and instead of the X-Factor wide receiver, I'm going to throw in 2 seconds. A second this year and a second next year. I think that's about fair compensation, considering they're very interested in our 2 players. All right, we blew up our team. We have said that we got great compensation. We got a 1st this year, a 2nd this year, and a 2nd next year from the Titans. and we just gave them the 4th highest rated strong safety, 20, you know, he's getting up there in age a little bit, but pretty much near his ceiling. Jerry Jeudy, 1,000-yard receiver every year, and Wyatt Teller, who's obviously a little bit more of the salary cap depth, still a superstar guard. We gave the Titans 3 gigantic pieces, 3 win now pieces for like a pick that's I think it's 16th overall. And we got some freaking, I mean, we're gonna have to, we have somewhat of a replacement for Teller, and by that I mean we have a 77 normal dev second-year player, which is not 84, but that's not out there. But now we're gonna have 2 first-round picks. Gotta go wide out. That's where I actually set my focus scout this year, so we're gonna have a lot of information on that group. And now we gotta go get ourselves a safety. So after all those moves, we are still $8 million in the red. God damn it. I'm just releasing all my depth. I got a lot of guys like this that are almost freeing up $1 million every single shot, and we should be able to at least be in the green. But man, oh man, we need to handle the Shedeur situation. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Just had a single week after the trade to actually show up into effect. Now, getting Teller, Jerry Jeudy, Grant Delpit off the books. We got 4, and obviously I trimmed up a lot of fat there on the roster. We now have $43.5 million available salary cap. And all that's going to go to Shedeur. All right, so even though we blew the team up, our draft haul is insane right now. We have 2 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, 1, 2, 3, 4 threes. And I think with all these, we need to consider trading up. Now, here's why. So we got pick 31, which is our own, and 16 from the Tennessee Titans. I think 31 is going to be worth trading up for. Look at the wide receivers in this year's draft. The top 2s looked legit. Doug Warford, that we fully scouted, is a first-round talent. That looks a little out of our price range, but we have Harold Rudd, who we have guaranteed he's a first-round talent, and a little bit more of a unique physical specimen than is like you can fall in love with the letter grades. Letter grades aren't brutal, but they're also nothing to be crazy about. B catch the traffic CC, but the fact of the matter is he's 6'5", 200. He's built like Kelvin Benjamin, and he ran a 4.41. Good speed, great strength. I mean, great agility, which is unique for that position. Now, I don't think this guy's generational, but I think for the fact that we had to replace Jerry Jeudy right away, I feel like this guy's going to be like a 75 hidden dev. So I'm fine trading up for 31, probably packaging maybe a second and a third round pick, plus 31 to go up and get 20. Now, when it comes into 16, we do need a safety. I think Hale's probably the best looking safety of the bunch. It'd be pretty tough to try and get him, though, if I'm being honest. He looks pretty decent. He looks like he'll be a day 1 starter with those letter grades. I don't think there's... I would say in a perfect world, I could trade up and get Rudd, Hale, who's my top safety that we've extra scouted. But the guy that's surplus, the guy that is almost a lock, this guy looks absolutely insane. I don't need a D-tackle. I don't. But you know what? Future thinking. Our current superstar D-tackle is set to get paid. We're going to have to pay Shedeur. Look at Malik Peterson out of Georgia. B-A-B-A. Baracus. Look at the combine. 4.68 at 305 pounds. You get 4.68 when they're 285, 290, not 305. Elite. This guy is going to be simply incredible. And the fact that he's not going top 5 and he's falling down there at 17, we have to handle business. And I'm going to try with all those seconds and thirds, if we can end up with Malik Peterson, Harold Rudd, and Jalen Hale. Not only do I think we're getting 3 day 1 starters, I think out of those, one of those guys is at least going to be generational. And it's probably going to be the D-tackle. And just when you look at the salaries, again, we got to pay Shedeur Sanders. So you look, and J.J. Oakman, he's probably not getting paid. So that's kind of, that checks mark the detail. Honestly, we might be able to flip Oakman for one of the first-round picks. There is a legit shot. We have our generational kicker there, but looking at who we could pay, you know, Shedeur, Hood might be one of those cheap corners. He did lose his superstar depth, so he's down to a star, but it might be affordable there. Jedrick Wilson's probably gone, so we need a tackle. We might be able to get Shedeur in alignment, but there's no way we could pay Shedeur, and there's no way, big picture, we could have massive contracts on both Myles Garrett, Ethan Burke, and then also pay a defensive tackle elite money. So I think the first thing we do is we get to our pick, and we're going to we'll trust the mock draft. I will trust the mock draft that literally all of our targets are going to be still on the board here at pick 16. Let me just go double check that real quick. All right, Rudd is still on the board. Everyone, why? Where did Peterson go? Motherfucker, come on! Stop lying to me with these mock drafts. Fuck! Where did he go? What pick? I'm not even gonna lie. I literally just tried to back out and see if I could. Oh, you fuck. What a. Alright. We'll grab the wide receiver here. Oh, what a. We gotta try to still be happy. You guys find a way to still be happy, but god damn it. I had it all mapped out to have the greatest draft of all time. The game decided to bend me over. Alright, so we sent the Giants a second and a third. We have so many of those to move up 10 spots in the first round, so we can go grab that safety. And with the 21st pick, the Browns select Jalen Hale, safety out of Central Florida. Hidden dev. Looks like a dog. Oh my god, the plan. I would have paid the price to get all three of these. Like, I already know he's going to be an X factor. The D tackle we missed out on. Oh, that pisses me off. All my favorites are gone. So we're just going to try our best now at this spot to pick BPA. We have Dexter Tom. Actually, you know what? What do the linemen look like at this spot? Before I even pull the trigger on him, what do we got? Still a D tackle. Nothing there, really. Looks great. There's some all right guys. But Jedrick Wills likely is going to be leaving. Just can't pay him. So we need... Oh, I really wish we had that guy scouted. Spriggs. We need to at least... I think we just got to try to land a nice lineman here. That's probably better than a corner. And it might be... We'll come back to Cunningham. I should be able to give it one of our other second-round picks. So we'll grab a corner. Dexter, he looks solid. I don't know if he's going to have a dev trait athletically a little lacking. But, hey, we'll take that big, long, outside corner out of Colorado State. Hey, Cunningham, give me good news. Be a hidden dev. Let's go. Let's go. We need that. A little bit undersized, though, to count him as a tackle. But we'll find a way to make this work. So my draft board got completely shot. I still had 3 picks remaining in the third round. So I tried to find a sucker a little bit. What team's going to suck next year that I could take advantage of? So I was able to send our 3, and a lot of those are late round picks in the third round, like 20 and beyond, to the Patriots for their second and third round pick next year. Kind of just, you know, moving pieces around a little bit, but happy to have another second next year. Gives us extra ammunition, maybe aggressive in the first round. In case we see a great D tackle. We're never going to find a D tackle like that again. God damn it. That's going to take me a minute to get over that. All right, so looking at our draft recap. Yeah, Juan Harris, a 76. Where did we get that? All right. Ooh, okay. This guy's pretty. Computer picked him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I checked out after this pick. I was demoralized, honestly. Shout out the CPU. That's a little throwing me a bone. Say sorry line for the mock draft. Cunningham 71 hidden dev. We got Dexter Thomas 75 hidden dev. Hale 76 hidden dev, and Rudd. I'm not gonna lie. That's ratings a little bit. I mean, the letter grades weren't great, but 92 speed, 91 acceleration with the boost, 96 spec catch, 95 agility, 88 jumping at that size. It's a hell of a weapon, but we got to rip this man. I got to see. So my plan all along, the D tackle I want was projected to go 17th. He ended up going, wow, 14th. I don't even know if I would be able to like project at 80 overall. You already know. You already know what this is going to be. I hope it's gold, not red. Two straight Super Bowl losses to the Falcons and a complete robbery in the draft. And I can't sign my quarterback. We're down bad. We are down bad, folks. So now that we had so many changes to our roster to kind of make everything work, this is a quick update. Year 6, still have to pay Shedeur Sanders, but 99 X Factor, Pearsall, 95. I don't know why he's not our wide receiver 1. We got Rudd's going to start with the other rookie, Harris. Dotson, 86 superstar. The O-line, Wills. Ward, Goddard, Whitlock, and DeJuan Jones looks solid. Cunningham's going to develop this year and likely be a starter. Cheeks, 82 superstar. I mean, it's just one of those, we're just piling on. We've been able to draft. Dotson was a superstar out the gate. Cheeks was a superstar out the gate. Obviously, it stings missing on a guy that's an X factor, but we've still drafted incredibly well. Who is this? Is this my rookie? What? Dexter, what? Our second round corner's an X factor. That means if this all, I mean, I take that back. Actually, you know what? I don't take that back. But we probably don't have this picked and draft this corner if we were able to do our trade to go with the D tackle. But maybe, just maybe, this is this game's way of telling me we got you. We know we screwed you over there. Now, I don't know why, because that's from our coaching skill tree, which unveils one hidden dev trait per year. I don't know why we didn't go Rudd, the first round pick, or Hale, the first round pick, to unveil their dev trait. But yeah, that'll do. That makes it sting less. Obviously, he's not an 80, but 76 X factor out the gate is awesome. I will take that. This team is, I mean, again, we should be going back to the Super Bowl. Hopefully, it's not against the Falcons. All right, it's week 2. Let's get ahead of this as quickly as we can. Can we find a way? Oh my God, it's so hard. 7 years. There we go. It's done. Band-Aid has been ripped off. And with that, we say goodbye to many of starters. We're going to have to find a left tackle replacement, a center replacement, and a 25 superstar dev D tackle replacement. Easy. Easy. We can easily do that, right? God damn it. So we're still waiting on the dev tree to run, but Jalen Hale is superstar dev as well. So we got an X factor in the second round. Hale is a superstar. Rudd, I'm going to be honest, given the rating, a little bit underwhelming. Even if it's not, even if it's just a star, still an S tier draft class, and we missed, because we got lied to, an X factor generational D tackle. That could have been literally my greatest draft in the history of this channel in 10 years. Oh, brutal. So we end up going 11-6, winning our second straight AFC North title. I just got to brag here a little bit. Now, I'm not, again, the corner that we got in the second round probably doesn't get drafted. We likely trade that pick to get the 3 firsts, to get the X Factor D tackle. But let's just hypothetically say we keep the 1 early second. We trade 2 seconds, 3 thirds to move up or something, a future third. There is a chance, there was a chance that we ended that draft with 3 X Factors and a superstar. We don't know Cunningham's dev trait. That'd be ridiculous if it's probably a star. But Rudd, our first round pick wide receiver, X Factor. Hale, superstar dev, trading up to get him, and then we fell completely ass backwards, was just the top DB available into another X Factor, but we are drafting incredibly well. That's why we have somehow, some way been to 3 Super Bowls in 6 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, but man, oh man. It's not even gassing up. If we found a way to get 3, I think 2 X Factors and a superstar. I feel like we might have done that at some point, but it's arguably our best draft of all time. If we would have got 3 X Factors and a superstar, I would completely believe anyone that thinks I was cheating. That would have been my greatest draft. And we have drafted incredibly well in this rebuild. And that's probably the only reason why our team is surviving after paying Shedeur Sanders $450 million. Shedeur's getting closer, man. Finishes 3rd in the MVP voting race. And he's 8th in yards, 10th in touchdowns, 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns, 5 picks, also chipped in 300 yards rushing, and another 6 rushing touchdowns. Solid year from Dotson as well. Shane Ward, our guard, gets lineman of the year, which will be likely a dev trait boost, and he's actually under contract. We get offensive rookie of the year going to Harold Rudd, who's already an X Factor, so we don't really got to worry too much about that. Juan Harris, our 3rd wide receiver, right there with him as well. Both those guys crushed it. Rudd, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. Pearsall, 1,007, 9 and 3 for Juan Harris, and Cheeks, a tight end, giving us some nice production. It's kind of getting ridiculous at this point. Another defensive player of the year for Myles Garrett. I've lost track. I think he's got it 3 times, maybe even 4 times already in this rebuild. On a season where JOK crushed it, 1 tackle shy of 100 for Wallace. ATTFL's 21 sacks from Garrett. 8.5 for Burke, 8.5 for Edwards, who's getting to step up as we can't afford to keep Oakman, the superstar D tackle. 3 picks Emerson, JOK, and Newsome. Again, for how S tier the secondary is, still a little disappointed. But I mean, hey, if anyone out there knows a defensive playbook, 3-4 or 4-3, that gets big interception numbers, please let me know, because I couldn't tell you to save my life. There we go. First round of the playoffs with the 9-8 Houston Texans, who have a pretty good offense or defense. Not great under D'Amico Ryans, which is surprising. Scale of business, 31-14. 2 touchdowns, no picks for Shedeur. Completely stifling defensively CJ Stroud from doing anything. On the division round, we get easily the team that's been the biggest pain in their ass in the North in this rebuild. That is the Bengals, who have the number 2 overall offense, but their defense is horrible. If we're going to lose this, it better be a shootout. Except we win in a shootout, another conference championship. Shedeur Sanders, 4-touchdown performance as we come up against what usually is the boogeyman in the AFC. But a team, we are 2-0 in these playoffs, and Mahomes getting old. That's not a Mahomes-esque stat line. 24 touchdowns, 7 picks. That would be the time they shockingly beat us, because it's a surprise that they will. But we completely own the Chiefs. I don't even need to look at the box score, man. Let's be respectful of the boogeyman. That usually is them. Let's not look at them at their low point. But the fact that we are 3-0 in the playoffs against Kansas City, I freaking love it. And it sets up a Super Bowl. Not against the Falcons. That would have been something if we had 3 straight Super Bowls of the same matchup. But we get a terrifying Seattle team led by Kenneth Walker. 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns. They have the number 1 offense. Top 10 defense. This is going to be a banger. Our 4th Super Bowl appearance in 6 years, but we are staring down the barrel of 3 L's. 3 L's in a row. Like a Jim Kelly, Buffalo Bills type down period. And this is a really good Seahawks team. You know, that Falcons team was very good, and it wasn't like we got completely ripped off. We were just going up against an equally good team. This Seattle team looks legitimately terrifying as well, led by Kenneth Walker. And we are doing damage here. We settled for a field goal to go in with a slender halftime lead. Instant touchdown, defensive turnover. Let's come in here on 3rd and inches and finish this goddamn thing. We got a superstar running back, and we know how to use him. Let's go, fellas. Block him. Pancake. Throw some pancakes. Well, we get a free run right into the 2nd level. Run over the linebacker with our power back, Parker Dotson. Seattle goes right down to score. It is going to come down to a very tight 4th. They went for it on 4th down. They couldn't get it. We go for it on 4th down. Continue the drive. I love that. 4th and 4. We went for it. 4th and 3. We went for it. We are showing no mercy. And we avoid falling into the trap of the Bills. And we move within 1 Super Bowl, making a dynasty. Our 2nd Super Bowl win comes. Let's write it down here in the notebook. Super Bowl win versus Seattle. We went, what, 4-0 in the playoffs, which is the perfect sweep. And I'm about ready to go start the old 420 festivities here. Cashing out year 6. I'll do 7, 8, 9, 10 Saturday morning. This is coming out to you guys on a Saturday. Well, let's enjoy the Super Bowl ceremony right now. We handle business. 1 win away from making this into a dynasty. We have, we didn't gas Shedeur up. It's not like we got Shedeur Sanders and it's the draft class I created made him live up to that. He was a star dev. He was like a 75 star dev quarterback. I didn't make him an X factor. I didn't make him a superstar. But the fact that he is very, very close. He is 99 in 3 out of the 4 archetypes. He is as complete of a quarterback. And you know what? I'm going to show complete Gator bias. Super Bowl MVP. Give it to Ricky Pearsall. 6 catches, $135. We have $23 million remaining. There's no way. So just to respect and appreciate how much we are losing. We are drafting very well, but it's not like we are building this super team. We are equally losing veterans and win-now type players as we watch our starting franchise left tackle, franchise and probably one of the best centers, top 3 center in the league, and one of the best young D tackles in the league. We just, best of luck, can't afford to keep you. So I didn't see anyone worth trading up for per se in the first round. Our needs, well, we need 2 linemen. We got to go with the best 2 linemen, and of course, we're at pick 32, and there's not 1 left tackle. There's not really 1 right tackle worth drafting. So that means we got to kind of push on the inside. And, I mean, we got a couple nice-looking guards. This guy looks nice, but, I mean, we're not going to pick that in the first round. We have a center there that's a pass block, was interesting. But Still a little rich. There's just... I think we got to kind of pivot there by going O-lineman early. We do have pick 10 and 32 in the second round, which we could get a little aggressive with. But as far as... God damn it. We got one D tackle left. Now, there are a couple cheesy nose tackles here a little bit later on. But, you know, I guess we go with the only first rounder. I mean, it's not to look bad. Double B, double C, elite strength. If you didn't have elite strength, I might be a little scared, but almost a sub 540. The 3-cone 20-inch shutter are elite, especially for the pro day. I don't know, man. I feel like this could be like a normal dev guy, but should also be solid nice. We pulled the dev trait, 95 strength, but probably just your run-of-the-mill D tackle, but should be good enough to at least plug and play and be D tackle 2 in our scheme. And with pick 10, we'll go with Kirkpatrick here at left guard, A impact block, B run block, but he's 6'5", 335, so that's big enough that you could easily swing out the tackle. Elite strength, good enough for me. Let's go. Great athlete, 82 acceleration, 70 speed with 93 strength, an absolute powerhouse. We got pick 18, sorry. I thought we only had pick 32. With pick 18, I think if that center's still there that has A run block. I mean, that looks pretty solid. And at worst, again, we can kind of mix and match some of the interior. We need to walk out of this draft with 2 linemen. And we can kind of put one at guard, one at tackle. And Andrews... Actually, no, we need a center replacement. Not the best center. Like, a lot of times when you see some of these good centers, they have a couple elites. We didn't roll any elites there, so maybe there's no dev trait. But with that A pass block, A awareness, definitely will be 70+. And we do roll a dev trait. Let's go with how we've been drafting. I wouldn't be surprised we get a couple superstars or X factors here. Staying on the O-line, I mean, again, just it's a safe pick. Double B here for Eric Kennedy. Combine also looks real good. I don't know if he's going to play right away, but this could be a spot that we save some money and don't look at re-signing, you know, some of our linemen. About the letter grades, but this guy looks pretty freaking good. Tyler Shepard, ooh, I think the rating will be nice. Yeah, why not draft one of these cheesy guys? Oh, actually, that guy is terrible for a nose. There's another one down here, Jason Palmer. 335. What's your bench? A little bit better? Hell yeah. Elite strength. Let's go. And we got really the last pick on our board here. We scouted some of these guys here late. Look at this. Dominique Evans. First, second round talent. Day 3. The rich get richer. While I don't feel good about this draft as I did the last draft, look at the value that we got late. Last couple picks is what it is. But Evans, 73 normal. Palmer, 70. Shepard, 70. Kennedy, 70 with a dev trait. 74 dev. For Alexander Andrews, Kirkpatrick, who might just play some tackle for us, 76 hidden dev, and we get Atkins here, 74. The one that was kind of the wild card, wasn't too sure about him, was just the best tackle that was available at D tackle spot. You know, that's not bad. You know, it's definitely not 80X factor, but I'm still pretty happy with that draft. Got a couple starters there. We get off to a really good start here in year 7, 6-1. Looking to remain dominant, top offense in the league. You can make an argument just outside top 10 on the defense, even though for how good our secondary is, 23rd in pass, not the best. Put another spot with limited salary cap and a lot of guys that need to get paid. DeJuan Jones, that looks unlikely. Joe Whitlock looks unlikely. He's the guy that we switched from right guard to left tackle. That does not look good. Dwight McLaughlin. Maybe if he takes this, I have my doubts that he wants more money than that. We are not in the position to offer him more money. JOK, that is a tough ask. Almost $90 million for a 30-year-old linebacker. We have Greg Newsome, $20 million for one player. Parker Dotson. We are at the exact same spot we were with Trey Benson, where it's just I can't pay a running back that much money. Like, we're a plug-and-play system. Shane Ward easily is the guy that needs to get paid out of everybody that I won't have a problem paying as a superstar. We'll actually see if we can get him on that 3-year medium deal, which we do. But with $20 million remaining, we got to be smart with how we invest. I think ideally I would want JOK, but there's just no way to make that contract make any sense whatsoever. So I would say, unfortunately, I think we are heading towards... Might be able to lock in Whitlock. Here we go. We got Whitlock. Maybe not a high upside, but he's going to be here for the remainder of the rebuild. And, you know, his ceiling's probably 84, 85 at left tackle. You can win with that. But We're going to be looking for a new starting right tackle, safety, linebacker, corner, and running back this offseason. We close year 7 by putting our best record up of the rebuild, 15-2. Number 1 defense, number 4 offense. This is our 3rd straight AFC North championship, our 4th total in this rebuild, and we are looking good. And again, need to look good because for the last couple years, it's always like we might regress decently the upcoming season because we just looked at the sheer amount of free agents we're going to be losing. Our team is not going to be as strong next year as we are right now. There's nothing I can do. There's no amount of S-tier draft I can even have to recuperate the talent that we're about to lose. But as some awards started, we got Kicker of the Year. Shout out Zach Horan. We also got Myles Garrett as yet again the Defensive Player of the Year. Shout out Ethan Burke for being right there with him. These guys crush it on the defensive side of the ball. Myles Garrett aging like a fine wine, shattering his own sack record. 16 TFLs, 26 sacks, 15 from Burke, 6 from Edwards, superstar D tackle, and not to just keep rubbing it, but Atkins, we settled for Atkins in the first round, and kind of blind picked him a little bit, and we're falling ass backwards into superstar depth players at this point. Decent season receiving for our 3 main weapons here. Pearsall goes for 11-9, 1,011 for Rudd, 7-10 from David Cheeks, our best season for a receiver. Dotson with 12-11 in what is going to be his final year with the Browns. Shedeur, 400 yards, 7 touchdowns, not bad. But we need to acknowledge year 7, Shedeur Sanders has finally won league MVP. 1 seed, 7 rushing touchdowns. He finishes 14th in yards, 4th in passing touchdowns. So we got over 4,000 yards. Well into 40 for tutties. Only 2 interceptions. And this is long overdue. A very tough matchup in the divisional round against the Bengals, which we handle business 31-24. And we got that boogeyman that has not been a boogeyman in the AFC Championship game. But 31-24, Shedeur and Joe Burrow both didn't really play their best games. We got to give the credit here to Parker Dotson, who's trying to play much like we've seen Nick Chubb try to play for a contract late, much like we try to see with Trey Benson late, trying to play for a contract. No matter how hard you try, I'm not going to pay you, but I appreciate you while you're here wearing the Browns uniform. So you might as well call our team the Ghostbusters because we've seen this boogeyman known as the Chiefs. I see Mahomes. They don't have MVP Shedeur, but that's still good. 26 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Right? I respect that. You know what? I respect them enough that I'm going to use that on my upgrade. I want to make sure that my team is extra strong. All my starters are as good as they possibly can be, and my team is fully locked in here in the championship game, which would make it our 4th straight. This is our fifth straight AFC championship game, and we beat them again. 31-15. Shedeur Sanders with a rushing performance that we haven't seen in a minute. 2 rushing touchdowns. Not a great game. That is a participation level award for Player of the Week. But we will take it as we are heading to the Super Bowl in a rematch of our very first Super Bowl win way back in year 2. It was Jordan Love and Shedeur Sanders winning our first Super Bowl of the rebuild. And now we are here with an opportunity for our 3rd Super Bowl of the rebuild, giving this the proper title of a dynasty. We need to achieve it here in year 7. And we got a pretty decent Green Bay team, offensively and defensively, both ranked 6th, respectively. And we've officially reached 99 status. I can't use any more upgrades for Shedeur Sanders, your MVP. And he is absolutely insane. He's the best. We've used some big name quarterbacks, drafted and not. He is the best. Let's go. Let's win it in Jerry World. Even though the Browns have no real connection to the Dallas Cowboys outside of fleecing them for Amari Cooper, it always means something to be able to come in here and beat them. Those look a little one-sided, but luckily 2 straight tutties from the Browns. Looks pretty decent. We're going to come in here 3rd and 10. At about midfield and see if we could get something in the end zone to go into halftime 21 apiece. But Jordan Love, even though it's been a minute, he remembers losing to the Browns in his first Super Bowl attempt. We're going to burn a timeout there, go to Rudd. Big 6'5", 230 target that can get open. Got some speed to his game. And look at that. The team punches. They don't even need me to do it for them. They don't need me to hold their hands. And it does feel like anytime they score, we will score. Somehow we missed the extra point, which is frustrating because we got kicker of the year. It's on his resume. But he makes the field goal for us to go up 2. We're trading field goals here late. 3rd and 8 on the 39. We are implementing our 3 cash-ins that we can come in, hop it on the sticks. We still have 1 more. But I would love, I mean, this is not a play that's going to get this in the end zone, but it's a play that should help the fellas get a first down, and we go to Rudd. The superstar look at Shedeur is cooking almost 400 yards on the day. The MVP playing as such. We get the touchdown. We are up 7, and they are going for it on 4th down, which they get it. Drive continues. Turnover. Jordan Love pisses down his leg. And the Browns have won their 3rd Super Bowl. Dynasty mode activated. Shedeur in his MVP season. That's what I want to see, baby. A 3-0 playoff run. A Super Bowl win again versus the... So, as much as Atlanta's been our kryptonite, Atlanta has beat us in 2 Super Bowls. We have beat Green Bay. We are their kryptonite. They are also a big dog in the NFC. And let's celebrate this again because this is just bad. We still got, what, 3 more years. I'm going to do this right now. I write every rebuild. Every one of these 10-year rebuilds is going in this. What is the most Super Bowls we've won in a 10-year rebuild? With the Bears, we won 1, 2, 3. We won 4 with the Chicago Bears in our very first one. So that is kind of the pace car that has been set. We won 1 Super Bowl with the Texans. 1. We won 2 Super Bowls with the Bills, so 4 with the Bears. Panthers, I don't think we won a whole lot. We got 1, 2 with the Panthers. So 4 is the pace that has been set. We are at 3. Give the MVP of the Super Bowl to the league MVP Shedeur as we look to let's set a new pace. We got 3 years left. Let's win 2 more and make this the rebuild of all rebuilds so far. Now, just because he can retire at any moment, Myles Garrett, we got him back for another year. Right? We've already got past the retirement stage this offseason, but 208 TFLs, 239.5 sacks. So, I mean, at this rate, we're just shattering a record that is not going to be reached. Aaron Donald retired. Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, TJ Watt. Yeah, right. I would actually be cool if we can get like, I mean, it's unlikely. It's 34. But if we can get 300 sacks in his career, if we can get 2-3 more years, we can get him at least 36, 37, which happens. It's rare. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. He literally just has his best season ever. He reminds me of like the great Julius Peppers, just playing better as he got older. Because I'm not going to be spending much in free agency, I do feel like we at least try to keep Greg Newsome. It's only a 1-year deal. It's not like we're committing a lot of long-term money. This is just for him to run it back year 8. And he's an X-Factor corner still. So we're going to do that, but we are definitely going to be looking for a new running back, a new linebacker, a new safety, and a new right tackle. You know what? Let's look at JOK stats. He's also been in for a minute. And he's killed it over 1,000 tackles, which is like a good pace for like, yeah, you're great in this rebuild. 64 TFLs, 9.5 sacks, 16 picks for the great JOK. Just a quick look at free agency. It's frustrating. It's like, oh, 3 of the top 5 are my guys? Yeah, that's cool. Now, we did lose DeJuan Jones at tackle, and when you get later on the rebuild, you can sometimes find these kind of guys that are affordable. We got Keith Hartwell, who's 10 overall points lower, but 27-77 with a dev trait. It's likely going to be better than any rookie we could go out and bring in, and gives us a little bit of cover, but it is still no matter what way you cut it, an 11-point downgrade at right tackle for the Browns going into next year. All right, so at our pick here, running back, which I mean, I don't want to rush to draft a running back in the first round, but no, I'm partial to drafting like the late stud that has a bunch of A's, except that doesn't exist in this draft. So we do have an opportunity to get like the big athlete, Tyler Merritt out of Oklahoma. He's the big dog, 4.31, but he's got to be our first round pick if we want to pull the trigger. We also need a safety. That's going to walk in and be a day one starter. We have Eddie Kitchens, who has B-man coverage. Usually for safeties, if I can get B or A in man or zone, that's the thing I'm going to prioritize. And then if you're looking for more later round picks, that's when you look for hit power and an elite strength to try to roll like a special team stud. Kitchens looks pretty good. The fact that he's still on the board looks decent. I've got Eddie Howe down here, looks solid because he has B-man coverage. Might be able to trade up and get him in the second round. Athletically speaking, 40's not bad. 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle is exactly where you want. I mean, this is a big-time athlete right there. That's a hidden dev for sure. So I think we go running back and then maybe be aggressive. Keep an eye. There's a lot of safety. So if you see a run on safeties, trade up. Try to get, I would say, first Kitchens if he's there in the second. And then we could pivot to the strong safety if we need to. But for much as we don't value running backs, this is a big-time athlete here at Oklahoma. 95 acceleration, 93 speed, prolific. And he's going to be, there's our running back for the close out this rebuild. That's going to win us a couple more Super Bowls. Damn it. I'm not going to lie. I just hit auto sim to the pick. I fucked this up. I'm not going to say I fucked it up, but. All right, I think we pivot. We need a linebacker as well. JOK's gone. We got our A, you know me. Elite speed, A zone coverage. That is my type of linebacker. And we got Chester James here. He's going to be a day one starter. Nice little value pick here, day 3. C finesse, A power, A tackle on a D end. That's also not a brutal athlete. Hell yeah, there's value there. Kind of similar. Chad Reynolds here, 6'2", ABB. Zone kind of sucks. Athletically speaking, not great, but I'll go with the letter grades. Give me all the depth traits you got. It's kind of the last pick here on my board. We scouted the wide receivers and a UDFA. That's a round 1 talent. Yep, I'll take it. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, scouting department, for that one. And looking at our draft recap. Well, ain't bad. Curry 74 for a UDFA, a couple late-round picks there. Reynolds 68 hidden dev, 69 hidden dev for Carter, developmental guy. Jane 74 with a hidden dev, and 76 hidden dev for Tyler Merrill. We needed, coming into this, a starting running back, a starting linebacker, a starting safety. And, I mean, we do get a hidden dev corner that, what's his tackling? I don't want to just assume that he can go to safety, but, like, is his tackling in, like, the 70s? High 60s, he potentially could kick there. Oh, it's absolutely not. 49. But maybe he's good enough to keep at corner. Like, sneakily develop him at corner and then move one of our other corners to safety. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But happy with the draft. All right, midway point of year 8, and I'm a little worried. 3-5. Our team has fallen off a cliff. Our rankings are terrible. This is not good. We only have $58 million of salary cap. This is really not good. Got to keep him. Can't let Myles Garrett leave. So that's there you go. You pay him first. I think Ricky Pearsall would be next up in line. And even then, I don't think he's going to take this deal 4 years. It's a lot of money. I think that would be where I'd pick. I'd go Pearsall next. I think we could probably get him over the line at the end of the year when we have a little bit more when the salary cap goes up. But we're going to, again, just say goodbye to a 90 superstar tight end, 2 X Factor corners. Thanks for everything. And there's no way around it. As a 90 overall team going 8-9 after just years of dominating, after achieving dynasty status and saying, hey, are we going to challenge to be the best rebuild ever? Not making the playoffs. But there does need to be some sort of accountability to the amount of talent that we're just losing out the door and can't replace fast enough. That you're going to have this happen. And look, we got our running back, star dev, right? Like, we've drafted well, but eventually the wheels fall off a little bit. And look, James, another dev trait, star dev. I will say, shout out Carter. Superstar, a little sneaky superstar pass rusher in case Myles Garrett could retire. And I am committed to, as long as he can keep trying to chase that sack record, 300 sacks. Well, he already has it, but 300 sacks, I'll have him on the team. But if he does retire, it's going to probably make the team a little bit better because we'll take that money we gave him and probably sign a couple other guys. But, man, oh, man, what a disappointing season here from the Browns. Just kind of like an out-year year. We got 2 years left to try to turn things around. Damn, Shedeur goes from winning MVP to not even making the short list. We did get Offensive Rookie of the Year for Mero, knowing that he's on a star dev. If that can get a sneaky superstar dev trade increase, I'll take that. And while we're just looking at the awards, we only have one other one, and of course, it's Myles Garrett. Well, the stats, Shedeur, 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 and 5 there for Mero. So, like, not great. He might not get superstar. That is a whelming season. No one went over 1,000 yards. Still Ricky Pearsall, who we do still hope to re-sign. Got double-digit touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball, though, man. Myles Garrett, incredible. 19 TFLs, throws another 22 sacks, 14 from Burke, 8.5 from Deontay Edwards. Interceptions for all those X factors is still brutal. But kind of a nothing year. Let's just act like it never happened and roll into year 9. Myles Garrett's not retired. Let's go, baby. 261 and counting. All right, we're going to come with our final offer, Ricky Pearsall, 4-year, 104. Oh, you prick. What's the franchise tag? 36. I can't even franchise tag him. I mean, it's stupid, but Cheeks needs to step up as a receiver for us. And it pains me, Gator bias included. Ricky Pearsall's had a hell of a career, one of the greatest receivers in Browns history, 607 receptions, 9,000 yards, and was 5 touchdowns short of getting 100 in his Browns career. But, I mean, money, salary cap has been an issue this entire rebuild, and we lost a lot of good soldiers along the way. We're able to get a couple low-key signings here, affordable signings. We got J.P. McLeod, we need a new starter at free safety, 26.77 with the dev trade, and by losing 2 X-Factor corners, we're not going to be able to draft 2 X-Factors, so we got to get someone that's at least capable of a starter. James Bishop, 6'3", 77 with a dev trade as well. All right, so coming into the draft, we need a wideout. Harris is a good slot, 83 slot, 85 with the boost. Obviously, Rudd is our wide receiver 1. We need a wide receiver 2. Mero, getting Offensive Rookie of the Year, did go up to superstar. O-line, Cheeks needs to step up. Tight end's been a spot that we've got okay production. I'd love to see him step up now that Pearsall's gone to be our second receiving target, but we can't rely on that. Wide receiver in the first round is potentially likely. Looking at the defense as we continue to retool. The D-line is S2. The secondary, Bishop helps a little bit, but ideally, we definitely go after a corner early. That's really all we need. But, man, this team, it's been tough to keep this roster together. I'll tell you that. So, wide receiver, corner, see what we can do. So, corner and wide receiver. Now, we didn't focus scout corners, so we kind of picked through the scraps. I got Kenyon Fry here, first rounder, double A, double B. All right, Borden is a big-time athlete, but it looks like the best pick, value pick that is Taj Pierman here. Second-round pick, A zone, B press, B catching, 6'1", has the combine, the fastest corner at the combine, which is good. So that's second round. Wide receiver, luckily, is where I set my focus scouting all year. So we got some great information. Aaron Anderson, the deep threat. If we're going to grab one in the first round, it looks real good. We got, Rutland here is a first round talent, but look at what we found yet again. Another UDFA grade player that is a round 1 talent. We got a couple day 3s. Like, this, the value is insane. Look, another 3rd, 4th round. There are studs there. So, in my mind, I'm thinking this should be our wide. I mean, it's probably no dev trade. He's probably going to be just like a 75 normal dev or something like that. But I feel like that's our wideout. We go corner. Maybe we double dip at corner. I don't know. I forgot that we sucked last year. This bad to pick 15th. Like, we're going to have our choice here of player. Except the wide receiver. Wide receiver's already gone. So I think we'll just wait and cash and we'll grab that other wide receiver late. Looking at the corners that are available. Vereen's still there. Fryer is there. I think we go Fryer, Pierman. Unless there's like a linebacker, right? I don't know. I guess we can look over every position to make sure there's not like a freak stud here that like I wasn't even considering. Not really seeing said freak stud. So I think we go Fryer here in the first. Let's go big time. Oh, no dev trade. Damn. The second round, we'll take another swing. Pierman also looks freaking awesome. And there we go. We get the dev trait. We're going to go with the best athlete in a weak linebacker class. Oh. That's easily the biggest miss rate, I would say. Lack of hit rate. Miss rate, great athletes to no dev traits. Got to be at the linebacker spot. And I mean, at least, he wasn't an elite. He was just the best athlete available. I mean, which maybe it's just, it's the draft class. It wasn't necessarily him. Because it was like that guy had elite speed, agility, acceleration, all that stuff. And I think right now we just make sure that we get the wide receiver that we want. First round, UDFA. Let's go with the dev trait. We need a corner and wide receiver. We got a 79 normal, 78 hidden dev. The linebacker's not even bad, 74. I'll take that. Cody for a UDFA 77 hidden dev as well. Job done. And mid-season, year 9, a little bit better. 4-3, right in the hunt. We are technically last. And also a tiebreaker away from being technically first. So it's a weird spot to be. Not a lot of clarity to the season, but we look a little bit better. But as you can see, $27 million in the red. So we are going to be saying goodbye to our superstar D tackle, X Factor corner, star linebacker. Sick, just another year of not making the playoffs and my offense being fucking terrible. Sweet. Like, what did we lose offensively? For it to fall off a cliff, for being we're always number 1. But, like, literally, we are 2 years removed from Shedeur winning the MVP. We lost Ricky Pearsall and a superstar running back, which we replaced with a superstar. We lost Ricky Pearsall, and my team's falling off a goddamn cliff, man. Brutal. What the fuck is this, Shedeur? 22 touchdowns, bud? We didn't have a single award winner, which makes me a little scared about Myles Garrett. We want to try to set the pace. I like 10 touchdowns for Rod. We'll take that. Ooh, Myles Garrett showing signs here. Only 8 now. I like Burke. I mean, hey, that's why this rebuild's been so tough. Because we got Burke, Myles Garrett, Shedeur Sanders on elite contracts. Those are 3 premium positions. And you know what? This was kind of the plan all along. Took forever. Took 9 years. But the plan was we paid Ethan Burke when we did. Because I thought there was a chance really for the last 2-3 seasons. Myles Garrett could retire. 34, 33, 34. We get Burke. He is our successor. He's our tandem and then eventual successor. And I didn't think it would happen here. But, dang. All right. I think we might have to push the idea of Myles Garrett getting 300 sacks out to pasture right now. If this is the end, still having almost 1,000 tackles for a D-end is ridiculous. 240 TFLs, 270 sacks. I'd love it, though, if he wants to run it back for year 10. Be here for the whole rebuild. Damn. Here he goes. 270 sacks later. Myles Garrett retires after 16 years and a sack record that will never be broken. Only breaking the previous record by 70. Now, we went from $20 million in the red. Myles Garrett retired, so now we have $12 million. But I think we've played the game long enough. I think it's going into year 10. We'd be a little irresponsible, restructure contracts, give us as much money as possible to try and not end this rebuild with 3 straight years of missing the playoffs. Shedeur giving us about $10 million in salary cap there. All right, so we got $33 million wiggle room. So we're going to see how we can best spend that. Wallace is important. I feel like Thomas is the most important because our corner room is not the best. So we'll give Dexter Thomas first with 18 remaining. No way, I don't even think we can kick the can. So Edwards is a pipe dream. Atkins has to step up as D-tackle 1. Can we keep Wallace? Oh, it's going to be close. Hey, there we go. Now we have no money, but at least we go into the draft. We need 1 D-tackle, and we have at least the same roster that missed the playoffs last year. That's good, right? Let's get ready to gas this guy up as the best D-tackle here in the first round at pick 15. Wet fart sound. Insert. We'll take another swing at the cheesiest of the cheese. A nose tackle with 44. There we go. 44 reps on the bench. 96 strength. There we go. That's what we're looking for a day 1 starter. Pretty weak draft class, if I do have to say so myself, as shown by our day 3, which is a bunch of nobodies. But we did add 2 nice D tackles. Turner 73, but Greenberry in the second round 74 with the hidden dev will be our day 1 starter. Been a minute since we looked at everyone else's draft, so just peeking at everyone else's work. Bengals did all right. Nothing crazy, nothing shocking in the world. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a really good one. 74 outside linebacker, 75 tight end, 76 safety. Darren Cole, not bad in the first round out of Utah with a hidden dev trade. How about the Ravens? Team that's perennially always drafted very well. Yeah, did it again. So, I mean, at position of value, maybe not. Linebacker and running back, along with corner and lineman, are kind of easier to pick day 2, day 3, but not a bad haul by them either. Here we go, year 10. This is our final Brown enemy. Not aging with grace is Shedeur Sanders. Last 2 years, he's not been good. The offense has not been good. He's lost his X factor, but he's still a perfect 99. He's won the MVP. I can't spend his upgrades, so he's still the perfect quarterback at 29 years of age. We got Rudd at X Factor, still crushing it. Mara at Superstar, 96 tight end. UDFA turned star. That's the second one, too. Remember we had that running back? The last running back was a UDFA grade player as well. So, I mean, this has definitely been our best drafting 10-year rebuild that we've done so far. The O-line, probably the best offensive line in the league. Former Offensive Lineman of the Year award with that Superstar dev that he earned is still up there. But, you know, again, complete offense, we've just lost so much. We've gained so much because we've drafted so well. We've also, on the flip side, lost more talent than we've ever lost in any of the rebuilds so far. And I don't even think it's close. I think this one clears pretty much, because the other ones we've been able to find ways to make it work. Like people do in real life that suck with money. Sometimes you find ways to make it work, survive as long as you can. We did not do that the best in this rebuild. We just couldn't do it in this rebuild. Defense, yeah. I mean, of course, the loss of Myles Garrett sucks. Luckily, we hit on a Superstar dev developmental guy. Rating's not the best, but hopefully, hits the ground running. Atkins, we got Burke back up to Superstar. He's going to have to be our Myles Garrett, which he was last year. Greensbury, Star Dev, second round pick. He's going to start. We're going to go with our 2 linebackers here. Trevin Wallace making the full rebuild. And James Hale lost his Superstar, unfortunately. McLeod lost his Star Dev. Thomas lost his X Factor. But they're still holding on, and the base ratings are pretty decent. 90s across the board. This team is better than the record has shown the last 2 years. 8-9, year 8. 9-8 in year 9. We got one final year. Can we get that 4th Super Bowl? Go on that hero run. We got the talent to do so. It's 420. But you're not tripping. We went 10-7. And we went 3 straight years after becoming a dynasty and achieving a dynasty. 3 straight seasons of not making the playoffs. I do respect the fact that this team, what we have accomplished, above winning 3 Super Bowls, above achieving a dynasty, above, Shedeur. Let's auto-upgrade some of these players here so we can see what our team at full strength looks like. But on top of Shedeur winning MVP and everything like that, the fact that regular season, postseason, we owned the Chiefs makes me feel really good. But I don't know if I've ever had even a regular rebuild end like this, where it's just 3-0s. Win early, 3-0s. Nothing to take away out of the final 3 years. 8-9 year 8, 9-8 year 9, 10-7 year 10, 3 straight year, no playoffs. Now, you can make the argument that we just, we burnt the candle at both ends, and eventually you're left with nothing. And that's kind of what we did. We did not handle our salary cap the smartest. We did not. I don't want to say did not. We could not keep up with the talent leaving, even though we drafted insanely well. Even though we were falling ass backwards into Superstar Dev after Superstar Dev after Superstar Dev after Hidden Dev after Hidden Dev in the draft, and drafted incredibly well. Arguably our best drafting rebuild. The fact of the matter is, when you're constantly losing 2 to 3 88, 90 plus superstar players, like the last 4 years, you can make like 3 of the top 5 have been us, former Browns, in the open market. You just don't have the turnaround. Like, it wasn't too long ago. We had 4 X factors in the secondary. We had 2 X factors on the D line, right? And Shedeur is like the most expensive player of all time. And we had Rudd X Factor. And we had Ricky Pearsall. We had a superstar tight end. And we had all linemen that were up. It's just, you know, we cannibalized ourselves for the success that we had when we did. And this was us paying the price the last 3 years. But I still think at the end of the day, for a 10-year Cleveland Brown rebuild, the fact that we endured and came out ahead after the Deshaun Watson situation. We came and saw Ricky Pearsall from that draft class with no first-round picks. Not just Ricky Pearsall. We got Trevin Wallace, who's still here doing it. I mean, let's look at some of the final stats here to kind of wrap this one up, to at least look at what we achieved throughout this time. But we still saw some outstanding players here. Shedeur Sanders, 34,000 yards, 270 touchdowns, 39 picks. Greatest quarterback in Cleveland Brown history. We had a revolving, I know, throws 3,500 yards and 36 rushing touchdowns. Sneaky aspect of his game. We always had a revolving door at running back. You know, it followed the same pattern. Nick Chubb, 90-some X Factor, crushed it, let him walk. Trey Benson drafted him. He was a 91 superstar. Crushed it, let him walk. We had the other guy, can't remember his name right now, but another guy was a superstar dev, played really well, let him walk. That revolving door of talent at running back. I don't think that ever was an issue. But I still have seen enough rebuilds with the Browns knowing what Nick Chubb can do, knowing Nick Chubb can get 20-plus rushing touchdowns, 1,700 rushing yards. We never had that aspect to our offense, which maybe is something. As far as receivers are concerned, obviously we saw some great ones go. Jerry Jeudy, Ricky Pearsall, Rudd, maybe the best of the bunch in terms of ceiling. Even though maybe my Gator bias wants to say Ricky Pearsall, 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns for him through 5 years in his career. Cheeks was always a solid role player. Maybe that was another thing, though. We always kind of invest at the tight end spot, going back to David Njoku, and we never really got great production. We never really got top 5, top 10 production out of our tight end, which, you know, just kind of is what it is. But that was annoying for sure. Defensively, Trevin Wallace, not bad for a third-round pick. 1,000 tackles in his career, 52 TFLs. 10 sacks with 5 picks. 108 sacks from Ethan Burke. Probably the best pass rush duo we'll ever have in a rebuild between him and the great Myles Garrett. On the interception front, nothing too crazy as our secondary. You know, long are the days of Denzel Ward, Newsome, you know, those dogs. Martin Emerson, those were great players for us down the stretch. But I do think, all in all, as we wrap this one up, a successful rebuild, a dynasty rebuild, here on one of my favorite holidays. The holidays for those of us, it's like St. Patrick's Day, but for the other stuff. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. As always, your first time stopping by, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace. I love ya. Have a good one.